Goes aside from my soul. There goes aside, there goes aside. Now there goes aside from my soul. There goes aside from my soul. There goes a sight. There goes a sight from my soul. I think it's all angels just walk by. 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 There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my there goes a sight. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. So.
1, 2, 3, jump!
Get wild.
Chiefs Kingdom. It's time for All Chiefed Up with your hosts, Steve and Mike Williams.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up, the best damn Kansas City Chiefs podcast in the kingdom.
Chiefs Kingdom, what's up, baby? Noah Gray here, tight end for your Kansas City Chiefs. You're listening to All Chiefed Up with Mike and Steve Williams.
What is happening, ACU crew?
Good to see you here on a Friday night for the tailgate, our Saturday night tailgate. So we're going to talk a little bit about this Cleveland Browns Kansas City Chiefs matchup tomorrow at 1 Eastern time. So pretty pumped that it's the last preseason game and we can get on to the regular season. We'll get to see how this 53-man roster shakes out. And yeah, it looks a little weird. Mike is not here. It's just me. So you got to deal with me. And also going to be trying to take your comments and everything as well. So I'll keep up as best as I can. But Mike is on his way back from Chicago. So we're going to have a little countdown. We'll see if he gets into the live stream before it actually ends. So we'll wait for a Mike sighting. That's what we can do. But yeah, pretty good day. Pretty good day. Been busy. I've been on the run all day long. So if you noticed, I pushed the live stream back 20 minutes. I saw some of you guys talking about that in the chat, but right at the last minute, my lovely, beautiful daughter decided I should drive 75 miles and pick her up for the weekend. So
I made him late.
Yeah.
It was my doing. I did it. I made him late and everything messed up. My fault.
Yeah. So push it back a little bit. That way I could get back into the house. I ran in and got online. So that's where we're at right now. But yeah, good to see you guys. Good to see you, Cindy, Chiefer, Gary, KC fan, Dan, Yogi's in the house, Lewis. Hope everybody's doing good. Yeah, so I put a poll up. It's good to see you guys too. See you, Marvin. Glad you could make it in. Yeah, I put a poll up earlier when I started the live stream or posted the live stream. It was, what position battles are you guys excited to see in the last preseason game? So if you've watched the last live stream or maybe the last podcast we dropped, I've been talking about what I'm excited to see as far as position battles in this last game. To me, it's the cornerbacks. So I noticed you guys are heavy on the wide receivers right now. I'll leave that poll up for a little while longer. If you haven't voted on it, go ahead and vote on it. We'll talk more about it in a minute. But in my opinion, I think that the wide receivers are set and ready to go. And excuse me for burping up a burger I tried to eat in 2 seconds before this, while the 5-minute countdown was on. I was like, let me have dinner. Yeah, I think the wide receivers are set. Like, to me, I think they're going to have to go with 7. That way they don't lose talent like Justin Ross. I don't see them investing all this time and energy into Justin Ross, like rehabilitations, everything else. And then him come out and look really good in camp and in preseason, and then them cutting him. I just don't see that happen. He's not going to clear waivers. He wouldn't be able to go to the practice squad. So I think the wide receivers are pretty set. You got Kadarius Toney, MBS, Sky Moore, Richie James, Justin Watson, and of course, Justin Ross. Yeah, I think that's going to be those 7. So I probably forgot one when I was just naming them off, but it's all good. I still love them, whoever they were. But I'm more interested in the cornerback matchup. So I think there's a pretty good battle going on for that last position of corners. And you guys know me if you've been watching. I'm a big Khalif Hallisey guy. Like, that's where I'm at. I think he's a great talent. I think he's a really good player. I was happy that we were able to acquire him after the draft. I thought that we were going to go for him in the draft in the 7th round. That's who I had the Chiefs taking in the 7th round of the draft. They took a corner, but they took Nick Jones. So did pick him up as a UDFA. I like what he offers. Just a big, long body, long arms, fast. He'll hit you. He'll smack you in the mouth. Got to love that about Khalif. And he's looked really, really good in the preseason. Flashed big time in the first preseason game. And then was pretty solid in the last game against the Cardinals. He did have a penalty against him, but it was just like a mistimed thing trying to get to a jump ball. So it wasn't like a huge deal. But yeah, I think that there's a battle going on between him, Echo Boyedo, and probably Nick Jones himself. So that would be my guess. I still haven't heard anything about L'Jarius Sneed's knee. If you guys have, throw it in the comments. I'm not exactly up to date. So I've been working all day. So if I miss something, you all just throw it in the chat. Don't think I'm crazy. I just haven't got to look at anything all day. I doubt anything's gone on, to be quite honest about it. But yeah, I'm excited for the cornerbacks. I see you guys are excited for the wide receivers. I guess throw in the chat, like if you're excited for the wide receivers, if you voted for that, like why is that? Like, do you think they're only going to take 6? Do you think there's still kind of a battle going on there for a 6th spot? Or do you think they're going to go ahead and take 7? Andy's never taken 7, but I think he's going to have to do it. I just feel like his hand's kind of forced. I think Rashee Rice is who I missed earlier. Obviously, he's on the roster. He's a lock. Your 2nd-round draft pick. He's looked excellent in the preseason. So, really liking what Rashee Rice is offering the Chiefs right now. So, always try to be hesitant with the rookie wide receivers with Andy Reid because you never know how much work they're going to get in their rookie season. But if you watched our last podcast drop, we talked about how, yeah, I think Rashee Rice could be the one that breaks that stigma. He could be the first Andy Reid rookie wide receiver that gets to come in and actually play and contribute and not just like a little bit here and there sprinkled in. I think he's going to have a pretty big part of the offense. He seems to be comfortable with Mahomes. Mahomes seems comfortable with him. And we got a guy finally that can play a little jump ball. He's a little bit different. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Nothing too crazy. Quarterbacks, I think they take 3 on the 53-man. Me and Mike are going to put out our final 53-man roster literally right after the last preseason game. We'll go live for game reactions, but later that night we'll be working on our 53-man roster, in which we will record the podcast for Monday morning and have that listed on there. So we'll see where we're at with that. But as far as quarterbacks go, Shane Buechele, I mean, he really balled out and definitely put a claim for maybe that number 2 spot, but I just don't think he's going to get it. I think that Blaine Gabbert's got the experience. I think Blaine Gabbert's got a little bit bigger arm than Buechele. I think that's where they're going to stick with. Andy likes that veteran presence. If they need someone to come in and right the ship, it'll be Blaine Gabbert more than likely. I think that's who we're going to see doing that. But Buechele will be on the 53. He was on the 53 last year because they didn't want him to go to the practice squad, because the one time he was on the practice squad 2 years ago, Arizona tried to poach him. So there are other people interested in Shane Buechele, and they're definitely probably interested if there's any type of backup spot available or something like that, because of what he did in the preseason. I mean, he looked phenomenal in the Arizona Cardinals game. So I was happy to see that from Shane. I thought he had a really good game. All right, let's see what you guys are up to. See if I can scroll these comments. I'll try to keep up with you. We got Steve-O in the house with a freaking 10 bomb right off the bat. Says, let's go, Steve-O. Hey, we appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot for the 10. Goes a long way. Glad you could make it in. Gonna be a good stream, guys. Just gonna hang out for a little while. It's a little odd, keep having to do the tailgates on Friday night this early in the season. But it is what it is. It'll get back to Saturday night eventually. But I'm good with Friday right now, so that works for me. Nikki says KC Star article about wide receivers that WR5 and WR6 get almost no targets in the pass. So why take 7? Well, I think it's a little bit different this year, Nikki. First of all, like I was saying, you got a guy on the roster, Justin Ross, that he's just way too talented. The ceiling's too high to let that guy walk. And if he were to not make the 53-man roster, he's going to go to the waiver wire, where someone else is going to pick him up and try to cash in on him, right? So you don't necessarily want that to happen. But you also have Kadarius Toney, who has a pretty extensive injury history. The guy's missed more games than he's played in his NFL career. So you have to be careful with the injuries. So you got that. I think that's where we lie. I don't think they're going to get rid of Justin Watson. They just signed him to a 2-year deal. I think they like him. He's solid. He's very solid. They can trust him. Like we joke around and call him mid, or he's not that great, whatever. But he's a very good receiver, and he's very solid. He's going to come in and do his job if need be. And Andy and crew love that about him. Patrick Mahomes loves that about him. You guys saw him in the preseason balling out. So, yeah, Justin Watson will be there. And Richie James has played way too good in the preseason and in camp. I think that 7's just where you're at, whether you want to be or not. And I think it's okay because this year we have an extra slot just because we're not taking a fullback. So that opened up a spot. And then I'm looking at tight ends to open up another spot. I don't see the need for 4 tight ends. I don't think that Bushman, I think he's played okay, but I don't think he's played good enough to make the 53-man roster. I think they're going to stick with Blake Bell in that third position behind Travis Kelce and Noah Gray. So I think that there might be plenty of room for 7 wide receivers. So to answer your question, why take 7? Injuries and talent that you don't want to squander. Because like I was saying with Justin Ross, you don't want somebody else to be able to snag him up off of the waiver wire and then beat you to death with him later in the season. Could you just imagine him going to the Bengals or something like that and then us having to deal with him later? That would be sick. So I think that's why you take 7, Nikki. But good question. Very good question. You're right. They don't normally use that many. Andy don't even really know what to do with 6, but it'd be nice to have them. Enrique with the 2. Appreciate it, Enrique. Says, hold the fort, Steve. I'm going to hold the fort. I'm going to hold the fort as well as I can. And we'll just, Mike better be cruising on in from Chicago. We'll see if he can catch the tail end of this bad boy. He was up there eating Lou Malnati's pizza earlier, sending me pictures, making me a little jealous. You know what I had for lunch? I had a little Caesar's pizza. That and Lou Malnati's is not in the same freaking universe. So a little bit of a smack in the face. He's like, oh, are you at work? I'm in Chicago. I'm eating some of the best pizza in the country. But, big brother, little brother stuff, right? It's just how it goes. We will get to Mr. Chris Jones a little later on. I don't want to talk about him just yet. I've been talking about Chris Jones too much lately. We're going to give it a rest. We're going to talk about the rest of the fellas. A lot to look forward to in the game tomorrow. I don't know if you guys heard I'm sure Andy said he's planning on playing the starters. I don't know if there's been any update on that. Me personally, I don't think we're going to see Patrick Mahomes at all. I don't know why he would get out there and take a snap. Don't think it's needed. I think they already know what they want to do with the offense. So why do you need QB1 out there at risk? I just don't see that happening. But yeah, if you guys could throw some legendaries and some catch-ups in the chat for Steve-O and Enrique, that would be awesome. I see some of you guys have beat me to the punch. What's up, Sneaky Jack? I see you rolling in here. Flapjack City, I'm pretty sure, is like the most gigantic troll of all time. I'll let you guys deal with him in the chat. Excuse me. I'll let you guys deal with this one. Oh, man. Lewis. What's up, Lewis? He says, Blake, the joke, Bell, slow as hell. Nah, I'll keep Matt Bushman over Bell. I don't think they need him to have speed, Lewis. Blake Bell, what they like from Blake Bell is his experience. He knows the offense, and he's one of the best blocking tight ends in football. I don't think they really need his speed. And Matt Bushman had flashed a few times. I think he's a pretty good tight end, but I don't think he's good enough to take a roster spot from some of these other guys. I think Matt Bushman's definitely going to be a practice squad guy. Just my opinion. I mean, everyone's got one. I will see how bad we're off. I said a while back, I'm pretty confident in our 53-man roster predictions this year. I think we're going to be able to nail a lot of it, but we'll see how that works out. Don't run in the house. I see you, buddy. What's going on, JT? Hope you're doing good. Let's see. Yeah, Calhoun, Blake can block. That's just all there is to it. That's why they love him, the experience and the blocking ability. Flapjack is a Broncos fan. Is he? I'm sorry, Flapjack. That must suck. He does have Patrick Mahomes as his profile picture, though, so he might be a Broncos fan. Just kind of a little jealous of what he don't have. He's like, I'll put it here and I'll cry myself to sleep at night. Jeremiah says he'll take Bell over Bushman. I think, honestly, I know a lot of people want Bushman. Sneaky Jack says he would take Bushman over Bell for the receiving upside. But I don't think you got to think, guys. Travis Kelce's not done yet. Travis Kelce's got a while to go. Travis Kelce, barring injuries, knock on anything, wouldn't even close to you. Travis Kelce's going to get majority of the snaps. And I think you're going to see more Noah Gray this year than we've seen in years past. So I'm excited to see that because I think Noah Gray has a lot that people don't know about. I think he's got a different, another gear. I think he can really play. And I think that's who they're banking on being the successor to Travis Kelce. So I think we'll see a lot of those two guys. Bell will be in there just blocking. That's pretty much what it's going to be. Yeah, Chief Kelce. Bell's just going to be a blocking tight end. That's what he's going to do. So yeah, Tom, what's up, my man? He says, did Trey Lance really get traded? Yeah, I believe he went to Dallas. This happened all while I was driving to pick up my daughter, but I think he got traded to the Cowboys for a 4th-round pick, is what I'm thinking. There could have been more to it. I didn't get to read much more after that. But I think that'll be a good landing spot for Trey Lance. It'll be a good fresh start for him. And Dak's, I don't think Dak is the answer in Dallas. I don't think he will be. I just don't see him being the guy that can get them to a Super Bowl or win one for that matter. Not saying Trey Lance could, but I'm just saying there's opportunity for Trey Lance there. But Dak is a good quarterback for him to learn behind. So I think it's a good situation for him. Tommy thinks Shane Bichelle's better than Trey Lance. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. Trey Lance hasn't really shown anything. He had a lot of potential coming out of college. That's kind of where we're at with it. I think it was a reach to take them where they did, but it was just how it went. It happens to everybody. There's this guy named Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the Chiefs. Man, Julia Gulia says Jerry Jones is the problem in Dallas. Very well could be. Very well could be. I mean, but Jerry Jones was around when they were slaughtering people in the 90s, so I don't know. But he doesn't do himself any favors. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, James, I think Cooper Rush was a pretty good backup quarterback for the Cowboys. So kind of surprised they are the ones that went out to get Trey Lance, but not at the same time because they have a lot of injuries with Dak and stuff like that. They're just kind of playing the odds here, right? Like if you can get someone of that value, that kind of an upside, like even if it doesn't work out, you still got to take your shot at it. I mean, for a 4th-round pick, I think it was a pretty good deal for Dallas, to be honest. It's not as good of a deal as getting Isaiah Simmons for a 7th-round pick, but that's just weird that happened. Arizona in full tank mode, ready to go snatch up Caleb Williams, who's not going to be Patrick Mahomes, by the way. I hate that comparison. Fine quarterback. But let's not compare him to Patrick Mahomes. That's just silly. What's up, Steve? Better late than never. You're not too late. We just got started about 20 minutes ago or so. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of this season. That's the goal that was set here by the ACU crew. I think we can get there. It's going to be a lot of work, but we're going to get there. But hit that sub button if you haven't yet. Also, all you guys watching, if you haven't hit the like button yet, take a second, go hit that like button, and that would help out as well. But yeah, it's just awesome that we're getting ready to go into the actual regular season of the NFL. That screams a lot of different things to me. Football's back. That means the weather's got to start changing like soon, because this heat's ridiculous. Like here in Kentucky, it has been absolutely awful. The devil's beehole around here is what it's been. It was 108 degrees yesterday, I believe was the heat index, or 113. I don't know. It's just been brutal. And I think KC got that. Might have been this week too. I don't know. I saw that in the weather that they were under attack from Satan himself. Sneaky Jack says Dallas will never go anywhere, accomplish anything as long as Jerry Jones is still alive. Truthfully, yeah, a lot of people have that sentiment, man. So it is what it is. Nikki, I agree. Better that Arizona gets Caleb Williams in Vegas. Absolutely. I don't think Jimmy G is going to be their quarterback for very long. I'm going to be honest. I think that Aiden O'Connell will take his spot. I think he will. I don't think he's going to be anything great, but I mean, I think he could probably do enough. I feel like he's a good enough quarterback to maybe take that starting job. I mean, it's not like they have huge shoes to fill. I mean, they're coming in after Baby Carr. So, I mean, they just got to be solid. I ain't even trying to knock Derek Carr. I actually like Derek Carr. I think he's a good guy. I think he'll be much better in New Orleans than in Vegas, but still, it's not like he's a groundbreaking quarterback or anything like that. Got a 10 bomb from Matt. If it'll pop up on the screen here. Appreciate you, my man. He says, family first, man. We forgive the late start. How many KC caps you got, bro? Got a nice little collection. Looks like I have too many. I do. I get yelled at all the time from my significant other. She gets mad because there's always hats laying everywhere. And then my 2-year-old, he has this misconception I'm wearing a hat so much, he thinks it's wrong when I'm not wearing a hat. So if I put one down somewhere, he brings it to me to put back on. And he's not happy until it goes back on my head. So I'll just be trying to chill on the couch or something. And he's like holding this hat in my face, like, dude, you going to do this or I'm going to stand here all night. So always got the hats on. Quite a few of them, though. Appreciate it. I need some more, though. I want some new ones. I've seen some new ones lately. They did like a throwback collection I saw from Lids earlier today. It just says Chiefs across the hat. It's kind of cool looking. I like the throwback stuff a lot. Like my favorite hat is the one that everybody tries to steal from me, and it's a Reebok hat. It's white I think it's from the 90s. Pops had it and gave it to me. It's my favorite. Sure, you guys see me wearing that one. And then of course the one with the giant logo that everybody loves as well. But now, appreciate the 10, man. Yeah, a little bit of a late start. I thought I was going to be able to get back in time. I told her, she called and she's like, I want to come hang out this weekend. I'm like, okay. Well, I'm going to have to come get you in the morning because I got too much stuff to do. Like, I just not going to have time. And I got thinking about it and I'm like, hey, I can come get you right now, but it has to be right now. And of course, the teenager, when they know that you're in that big of a hurry, when I get there to pick her up, she's like, I'm not ready. It's going to be a while. So yep, she done me dirty, but it's all right. I think you guys are understanding, so it is what it is. Bichelle is better than all the QBs. Hold on, let me get this up here. My mouse totally crapped out on me, by the way, so I'm using this trackpad, and I hate trying to keep up with stuff with the trackpad. Bichelle's better than all the QBs on the Raiders. Do you think, maybe at this moment, do you think it's better than Jimmy G, though, for real? Like, I know Jimmy G's just kind of a mediocre type guy, and he's not going to do anything special, but I don't know. That's a good one. Kevin Capel says, Steve, we need a poll for the white big arrowhead hat as a prize for members drawing. I can't give that one away, Kevin. I can't do it. It was a limited edition. It was an in-store exclusive. You had to go in-store to get it at Lids. I found it at Legends in KCK. At Lids there, and I picked it up, and I'm glad I did because I've not seen any more anywhere else. And I don't know. I don't know if I could part with it, Kevin. I don't know. It's yet to be determined. Maybe later on I'll change my mind, but we'll see. Sneaky Jack says I wanted a Super Bowl 57 hat for my birthday, but they sold out by the time I could afford to order it. Ain't that the truth, man? Everything's so high, though. I don't blame you. Usually with the Super Bowl hats, though, they don't like necessarily sell out. They'll have like a million of them left over like a year or two later, and then you can get it for cheap. Like I actually got a Super Bowl, was a 54 hat. I got that one later on. Super sweet deal on it. I got it for like literally like 10 or 15 bucks or something like that. And it was a nice hat. So keep an eye out. They'll probably bring them back. They probably got a bunch more stashed somewhere they're going to be trying to get rid of. Man, so what do you guys think is going to happen in the game tomorrow? I'm going to go ahead and close this poll out, by the way. 48% of you guys think wide receivers is the position to be watching tomorrow. I respectfully disagree with you. I'm going to be watching the cornerbacks mostly. I do want to see some of the defensive line, though. I want to see if Felix can get home on some of his pressures this game. Because I'm going to be honest, man, Felix has looked pretty dang good first couple of games. Like, nothing spectacular, but, I mean, he's doing his job. He's getting pressure on the quarterback, and that's all you can ask for a guy in his first couple of NFL games. So I'd like to see him get home. I'd like to see George Karlaftis do some stuff. I think he's going to have a big year. So the thing with George is, though, I think he's going to be playing from the inside a lot this year as well, which is cool because I think he's good at that too. I mean, he's a bull rush expert, so he'll be fine. We saw a little bit of that in the last preseason game. What's up, Gary? Good to see you, my man. He says, Steve, if a player's under contract and gets put on the practice squad, can another team sign that player? They can get poached from the practice squad, Gary. I don't know like all the rules that great about all that stuff, but if they're on the practice squad, they can get poached. So it almost happened to Arizona tried to do it to Shane Buechele a couple years ago. And that's why we ended up bringing him up to the 53 like mid-season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Mike's better with the rule stuff than I am. And speak of the devil, Mike says he just stopped to get gas. Go Chiefs. Mike, better be driving safe out there, my man. I mean, you could always call in on your phone if you can. I don't know how good a service you got, but you could try it. That might work. I did it once, but yep. Mike says, hey, ACU crew, I'm 65 southbound and trucking. Last time I talked to him, he was just above Indianapolis. So we'll see. We'll see if he gets in here. Just drive safe, Mike. Everybody can wait. They're not throwing tomatoes at me yet, so we'll see what's up with that. We'll see how long that lasts. Scott Crosser said, so what DTs you got making the roster? I think Shelton is better than Naughty and Wise. Go Chiefs. I don't disagree with you that he's better than Shelton or than Naughty and Wise. I think Shelton's been playing well. I think they like him. Mike thinks he's going to make the 53-man roster. I'm not opposed to it either. I mean, you got Coburn, obviously going to make the roster. Chris Jones, Turk Wharton. Let's see. How many they normally carry? Probably 4 or 5. Probably 4. That's what I would go with. If that, they might go 3. It really depends. Because I wonder if when they do it, like, I wonder if they, since they interchange them guys inside and outside so much, I wonder if they just go by the whole defensive line. Like if they're looking for a number. But yeah, I think the solid ones right now is obviously Wharton, Jones, Coburn. Next on that list is going to be either Shelton or Naughty. I mean, they only signed Naughty to a 1-year deal. He's more of the run stuffing type guy, which is what Shelton's going to be doing too. So it's going to be one of those guys. If I had to guess, I would stick with Naughty, just because sometimes they like to stick with just what they do. They don't get off script a whole lot in KC with Andy Reid. So I don't know, but I do think Shelton's been playing very well. So he very well could make that squad. If they take an extra one, yeah, for sure going to get on. So Wise is not going to make the squad. I don't see that happening. When me and Mike were at camp, man, Cullen was on his butt so bad. He was literally yelling at Daniel Wise every other minute, and it was funny. He was all over the defensive line because they were coming off that first preseason game where they looked like crap, I guess, and he was over it. So good times. Sneaky Jack. We're going to talk about Chris Jones a little bit. I said we'd talk about Chris Jones. Chris Jones is going to ruin his prime and the rest of his career if he sits out even 2 weeks. I think that might be an overreaction for 2 weeks. But I do think that missing time for him is it's not beneficial by any means. I don't think it's getting him anywhere in his negotiations. I think if anything, it opens up the possibility that the defense could still look good without him. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he does hold out? He doesn't play the first couple full regular season games. Sorry, I'll spit it out in a minute. And what if everybody looks good? Like, what if they're still getting pressure up the middle and stuff? Because, I mean, I'm a huge Chris Jones proponent. I think we need him in there. I think that he makes the whole defense better. Y'all have heard me talk about it over and over again. But if he were to not be in there and they still look good and they're still getting the job done, even against good competition, that hurts him in negotiations, if anything. So I think, like, if you look at the money situation, the math and everything behind it, I just don't think it makes any sense for him to miss any time. I think he'll be there week 1. And you have to keep in mind, there's still time for them to get this extension done before week 1. And a lot of times when you're in contract negotiations, usually, you know, the public posturing and stuff, that's like towards the end of the negotiations. Like, usually when you see a lot of this dumb stuff online about, oh, well, all communications are cut off, or like Chris Jones has been trolling people and always saying things and cryptic tweets and everything else. But a lot of times that's like the last step before something gets done. So I think that it could still get done before the season starts. Even if it don't, he's under contract. I think he'll be there week 1. He's going to play because he wants to keep increasing his value. I mean, that's all there is to it. So I don't think he's going to do anything to hurt himself unless he's taking some really bad advice from his agents. And I still don't think he'll miss any time in the regular season. But I've seen weirder things, so who knows? Yeah, Scott says the same thing. Can't see him sitting out. I just don't see it. Calhoun says Chris Jones can kick rocks. Already tired of his drama. It's easy to get to that point, Calhoun. Like, I've been huge on just signing Chris Jones, pay the man what he needs to be paid, even if it's a lot. I mean, he earned it. Like, he's a guy that we have to have. He's one of the 4 pillars of this dynasty. He's right there with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. He makes all the difference on our defense. He makes everyone around him better. He makes teams game plan against him. Like, we need him. That's where I'm at with it. But even at this point, I'm kind of irritated with it. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm tired of hearing about it. I think the most irritating thing is the fact that he's just out there kind of like playing with everybody, like with the cryptic tweets and trolling and this and that. Because you see a lot of stuff where, he turned down $28 million because he wants $30 million. There has been no reports, zero, that even allude to the fact that he was offered $28 million. None. Zero. Like, you can say that you heard that all you want, but it's not a true thing. Like, that has not actually happened, as far as I know. So we'll see where they're at. Over 30 million is too much. I would agree with that, T-Bone. I don't think 30 million, it's a little too high for him. Not just for him, because I think he's the best at his position, but I just feel like it's a little too much. I'd like to see him in like the 27 range. And I know a lot of people don't even want to pay him that, but I think he's deserving of 27. And a lot of it with the contract is how they're gonna set it up. Is it going to be the 3-year contract? Is it going to be a 5-year contract with some bogus years in there, with some funny money, some fake years on the contract? Brett Veach likes to pull such things sometimes. I think what it really comes down to, and I think probably what they're still negotiating about, is guaranteed money. That is the new thing in the NFL that people value the most, with good reason. They want to make sure they get that money no matter how things play out. So I think that's probably where they're at in negotiations, trying to figure out what kind of, guaranteed money can he get, because that's what they're going for these days. So that's it. Lewis says in 7 years, he has 2 double-digit sacks. Donald had 6 back-to-back of double-digit sacks. Yeah, Donald's a beast, right? Like, you can't knock that guy. You can't. It's hard to compare the two. They're kind of 2 different kinds of players, to be honest. But Chris Jones, the fact that him or Aaron Donald get as much pressure as they do to the quarterback and get quarterback hits and sacks is crazy, because that's not really what defensive tackles are supposed to do. Like, most defensive tackles in the league don't get that type of pressure. And that's why when you have one like Aaron Donald or Chris Jones, it's a bit of an anomaly, right? Like, you got to hang on to that guy. You want to keep him. That's what makes them special, is the fact that they can do that sort of thing. And yeah, you're right. He's only had 2 double-digit sack years, but like I said, it's not all about sacks. It's really hard to look at someone like Chris Jones, who changes the game in so many different aspects, and be like, well, this one stat, this number here, is why he should or should not get paid. Because, like I said, a defensive tackle getting 15.5 sacks is not common. A defensive tackle getting 10 sacks is not common. So it just is what it is. I think what you like about Chris Jones is the fact that he draws the double team. He draws the triple teams. Team's game plan. He puts pressure on the quarterback to where it makes the cornerbacks better. Like, stuff like that. I think that's what makes Chris as valuable as he is. So there's more to it than that. I can see where people come with that perspective, but I think there's just a whole lot more to it. So, yep. Renee, hope I'm saying that right. Says he created a lot of Dunlaps, easy sacks last year. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, he makes everybody around him better. Like, the better he plays, the better these defensive ends are going to play. The better the linebackers are going to play. The better the cornerbacks are going to play. It's just kind of how that's going to go, right? Because he's going to open up so much, like, as far as in the middle. When he's drawing the double teams, triple teams, going to open up some lanes for some guys. So I think he definitely makes everybody better. And that's something that you can't put on paper and use that as a stat. It's just his presence, really. I mean, they have to account for him at all times. He's that guy. Sneaky Jack says Chris is a phenomenal run defender. He just sometimes overcommits or gets to his gap too quickly. That is one knock I'll have on Chris Jones. I think he could be a better run defender. But I think the reason why that he's not as great as maybe some people think he should be is because he's that guy getting pressure. I think Chris Jones wants to get to that quarterback, man. So I think sometimes he over pursues or, like you said, hits a gap too quickly. But, that's why they like guys like Noddy, they like guys like Shelton and even Colburn. They're going to come in there and help with that run defense, right? So I'm kind of excited to see Turk Wharton back at it this year. I think he was really doing well before his last injury, and I think he offers a lot of stuff. He can kick inside, outside, do a lot of different things. So I hope he bounces back good from that injury. Hope he recovers well, and hope he has a good year. It'll be interesting to see him actually get a full year in with the Chiefs and see how much he can add to that defensive line. See a lot of you guys saying you wouldn't have an agent. I don't know if that's the route to go. Like, I feel like if I was one of these guys, you almost have to have an agent, right? Like, I feel like there's too much. You kind of want a cushion between you and the team, because if there's not one, there's going to be a lot of hard feelings. Like, I feel like if Chris was negotiating for himself, just straight up, like he's just having straight up conversations with, say, Brett Veach or whoever, and then when they're not seeing eye to eye, I think that creates more animosity. Whereas, that's what agents do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be that face-to-face type deal for Chris Jones. So I would prefer to have an agent if I was one of these guys, just for a couple different reasons. Yeah, if I miss your comment, I apologize. For some reason, since my mouse died and I'm using this trackpad, I can only scroll up if I catch it at the right time. So I'll do my best to keep up with you guys. Iron Price says, we've been burned by defensive contracts in the past. Us not signing Frank Clark kind of drew a red flag for him, I think. Frank Clark's original deal, like when we got him, was a bad deal. That was one of the worst deals that Brett Veach has made since he's been with the Chiefs as a GM. That's all there is to it. I don't think Frank Clark played up to the contract that he was paid for. Granted, loved Frank Clark, amazing in the playoffs, but I don't think he was worth all that money, right? So you got to be careful to not make those mistakes again. But I think Chris Jones is a different type of player. He's a whole different tier of player. Like, I wouldn't be worried about getting burned by Chris Jones, because I think he's 29. As a defensive tackle, these guys play till like 34, right? Like at a high level sometimes, most of the time. So I think he'll be all right. I think we got a good 3 to 4 years of primetime Chris Jones left. So take that however you will, or if you believe it or not, I don't know. Maybe you disagree. But that's how I see it. I think we should definitely get him in, extend him, and keep him for as long as we can. I would love to see him retire a Chief. I mean, obviously, I think he likes being a Chief. He's always said he wanted to retire a Chief. He don't want to play for anybody else. Said he will not play for another team except for Kansas City. So I would like to see it work out that way, because the feeling's mutual. Stone Cold. Feeling's mutual. Tom says, forget about Stone Cold Chris Jones. We need to change his name to Drama Queen Chris Jones. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. Like, I do feel, like I said, I've been a big proponent of getting this extension done. All about it. But it's starting to get on my nerves as well, Tom. Like, it's not the fact that he's holding out or anything like that, because I feel like that's just the nature of the beast, right? Like, that's the business. That's what these guys do. Sometimes they have to do these things. And I get it in the contract negotiations. But I don't think you got to be getting on Twitter and playing with your fan base. That's kind of where I draw the line personally. I think that's kind of not a good look for him. And I understand. I mean, if anybody has a sense of humor, it's me and Mike. I mean, we're always goofing around saying stupid stuff and doing dumb things because why take everything so seriously? But I feel like, a couple of things is fine. But when you just keep on picking and picking the way he has on X, I feel like, whatever. Not my cup of tea. Yogi, what's up, my man? Yeah, it didn't come through on my end either, so I have no idea. Honestly, don't know what to do about that. Like, I would definitely try to get in touch with like YouTube, like the customer service, and let them know what the heck's going on, because that's strange. And I'm sorry that happened. That sucks. But I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you trying to support. But definitely get in touch with them and get that money back for sure. Scott says if Chris Jones holds out until week 8, bench him and tag and trade him. Do not reward immature boy, man. I don't know, man. I honestly don't think we're gonna have to talk about that. I don't think he's gonna hold out like in a regular season. I don't think he'll miss any time. But if he does, I still don't know where I lie with that. Like, of course, I don't like it. I don't like it, and I don't necessarily know if you can just say like, oh, they're immature because they're being drama queens because this or that. We don't get the full scoop, man. We don't. We tend to side with the Chiefs. Obviously, we're Chiefs fans. We're not just Chris Jones fans or just this person fans. We're Chiefs fans, so we're going to side with the franchise a lot. But it's a business, man, and people like Veach, he's doing what he's got to do from a business perspective, and from a guy that, you know, went to school for small business management, and that's what I did for, 10 years is just management stuff. Sometimes you gotta, I guess in this case, they might lowball him a little bit and be like, hey, this is where we're at, this is what we can do, and just try to play hardball. And sometimes, agents and players can see through that type of thing. And the Chiefs have a negative connotation towards them that they're cheap anyway, right? Like everybody always says that the Chiefs are cheap and they won't pay anybody. And this is exactly why they get that. This is why people think that, because of times like this. But then again, like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs of the contract negotiations. So I try to stay neutral about it. I think what Patrick Mahomes said the other day about it is the best way for everybody to look at it, whether you're a teammate, a fan, whatever. I think you just gotta trust, like, man, Chris Jones is trying to do what's best for Chris Jones and his family. Brett Veach trying to do what's best for the Chiefs. Can they meet in the middle and make this happen? I think so. I think they'll get it done. I'm still hoping that they get something done before the season even starts. I'm hoping in the next week or so we see the extension get done. That's ideal for me. But if he plays this year just on contract, that's fine too. Then we can start talking about, do you want to tag him next year? Do you want to tag him and trade him? Do you want to go ahead and extend him? Extend him later on. It doesn't have to be right now. So, I do just want to see Chris Jones back out there and at it, though. Definitely don't want it dragging the team down, That's the main thing. Like, how bad does it affect the locker room? From what Mahomes was saying, they all understand. They get it completely. So maybe it doesn't. But then again, maybe it does. I personally think there's a lot of new pieces on the defense that could benefit from getting to learn in there with Chris Jones and actually have some time in with Chris Jones prior to the season starting, but that ain't going to happen now. So that's one thing I don't like about it. Yeah, throw some predictions for the first regular season game. I want to know what you guys think about this regular season game. Lewis says Chiefs 42, Lions 17. That's huge. But I want to see what everyone else thinks. There's a lot of people saying that the Chiefs are going to drop it right there in the beginning. They're going to drop a game. It's a trap game, first game of the season. Lions are good. They're a good young team. I get it. But a lot of people's going that route. I want to see if you guys even think that's possible. I think most Chiefs fans think that Chiefs are going to handle them pretty easily, but I think it could be a tough game. But I think the Chiefs are still going to win it. That's just me. I think they'll win it pretty handily. Let's see here. A couple of your other guys seem the same as well. Sneaky Jack, you got to win by 10. It's about right. Just excited for the season altogether. Chief Kelsey, 38-27. That's kind of where I'm at, right in there, Chief Kelsey. I don't think it's going to be like a big time blowout like some people think. I think the Lions are going to make it interesting. The Lions don't have anything to lose here. Like they're going in, they're getting a shot at the Super Bowl champions in game 1 under the national spotlight all over television. Everybody's eyes on them. Get out there and they're going to play their hearts out. You can bet on that one. So the Chiefs can't come out flat. That's one thing. If the Chiefs come out, we all know which Chiefs I'm talking about. You know how they like to show up sometimes and they all look like they're hungover and they don't want to be there? That's something that they can't do. Like they have to show up. They have to have some intensity. They have to have a fire under their butts. Be pumped, baby. Go out in week 1 and put a hurting on them. That's what I'm saying. Get the season started right. I think most people that are Chiefs fans kind of, because we're biased, we're not going to say Detroit's going to upset them. But I just don't see it happening. Even objectively, I don't think so. So do any of you guys have any good predictions for the game tomorrow? I believe it's at 1 Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't even got to look. Like, if any of you guys know where they're, like, the game's coming on tomorrow, like what channel's broadcasting it, or if it's NFL Network, NFL Plus, you have to have that. I don't freaking know. I don't have a clue. So if any of you guys know that, throw it in the chat. But yeah, I had some predictions. I hope you guys got to catch our video we dropped last night. We released it a little later than usual. We actually recorded it, edited it, made a thumbnail, and dropped it like almost instantly last night. We were originally going to put it out this morning, but we're like, hey, let's go ahead and drop it now. So it came out at 7 last night. I hope you guys got to watch it. But me and Mike kind of touched on the game just a little bit, and we talked about some predictions that we had for the game. I think I was joking around. I said score prediction. I don't remember what score I said, but I said the Browns are going to beat the Chiefs in the preseason. And it's going to be the craziest thing ever. The Browns beat the Chiefs in the preseason. But my actual predictions. So thanks, Nikki, and anybody else that put it in the chat, Jeremiah, everybody. So noon Central Time, NFL Network. Gotcha. So 1 Eastern, NFL Network. That's what I need to know. Yeah. So anyway, we're talking about the game. I said some of the predictions I actually had for the game. One was I think that Cleve Halsey stacks another game. I think he's going to look good. I mean, this guy's put in so much work to get where he's at. I mean, you're looking at a guy that was a UDFA, came in, played all through training camp well, got in there and showed out in the preseason. He's got to stack one more game, and I think he almost locks him a spot, especially the way things are shaking out in that DB room right now. So I think that's something that's going to happen. I think Felix is going to get that sack. I think he's going to make it home. That's another prediction I got. Felix is going to get a sack tomorrow. Go ahead and close the gap there because he has looked good, guys. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but he has looked very, very good coming off the edge and getting a lot of pressure. So that's all we can ask so far. Felix is a bit of a different beast than we're used to. So it's nice to see somebody that like that. And BJ plays a lot different than a lot of the edge rushers we normally have. So I like to see him get some stuff done tomorrow as well. I would like to see him be on this roster. I think he will be, but nothing's guaranteed with those guys that are on the bubble, right? So other than that, I'll keep my eye on probably the offensive line. I still kind of want to see what they're doing. I went back and watched some of the Arizona Cardinals game. Offensive line, they looked good. Like first team, second team, third team, dominated. That's why the game was the way it was. I liked Kennard as a guard. I'm not going to lie. I think that he looked really good. I think he's going to be a solid guard. A lot of people think like he might get cut. Talking about Helmer Caliendo, one of them two might make the squad. The other get cut. I don't think Kennard's going anywhere. It's not just because I'm a big Kennard guy. Like I actually wanted us to draft him. I watched him through college because obviously we're in Kentucky, UK fans. He played there. I originally wanted him to be a tackle, right? Like that's what he is. He sees himself as a tackle. He said that right here on the show himself. But if they ask him to play guard, he said he will do it. And that's exactly what's happening. And I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by it because when I really look at it, Kennard plays a lot like Trey Smith. Like he's a guy that plays very intensely. He's nasty. He's going to finish plays. He's going to pancake people and just beat them down, man. That's what he does. The same type of intensity as Trey Smith. So I'm intrigued at him with guard. Why I don't think that you even risk losing that guy is because you got Joe Tooney with that contract coming up. Going to need somebody there. You got Trey Smith coming up on contract. If they're not able to re-sign Trey Smith, I wouldn't be completely mad at it just going to Darian Kennard. I don't think it's as big of a drop-off as some people think it is or think it would be. I don't. I think they play very similarly. And so I think they keep Kennard for that. 9 O-line's probably where I'm at with it. Maybe 10 if they're worried about injuries or something, but I think they'll stick with 9. I think Wanye's your swing tackle, right? Like he's going to be your backup tackle. I think he's earned that. I'm not big on Yang. I just don't think he's looked super solid. I'm just going to go out and say it. Like I've never seen him do anything that impressed me in the NFL. I don't think he's been bad, but I don't think he's been good. And in the preseason, to me, it looks like he's just not very fundamentally sound. He seems to be a little off balance, like reaching a lot, stuff like that. Like I just don't feel like he's extending well. I don't know. I feel like he could be a surprise cut. Like, hey, Niang experiment over. So that's a possibility. But yeah, I'll be watching the offensive line as well. Make sure to throw in the chat what you guys are going to be watching on the offensive line as well. I got a 10 bomb from Yogi. I see you finally got it to work, Yogi. I appreciate you. Says I really want to see Morris get better. I think we're going to see him continue to get better and better. Definitely don't think Morris is like a short-term play when they drafted him. I think he's more of a long-term play. They do have Donovan Smith on a 1 year. So it's so hard to tell where their heads are at. Like, are they're going to experiment with Jawan Taylor? Do they see how he does at right tackle and see if they think he could be a left tackle this year? And then not sign back Donovan Smith and use Wanye at the right tackle? Do they think Wanye can be good enough to take a left tackle spot? I don't know. It's an interesting one. So definitely going to be watching the offensive line now. Let's see here. I'm behind in the chat big time. Bear with me, fellas. Jack Richards with the 5 bomb. But appreciate you, Yogi. Thanks for the 10, my man. Jack with the 5 says spot on about the comments. Jones isn't helping. You want to keep the fans at your back. Yeah, I think that's my thing. I just don't like the way he's been kind of playing with the fans. Granted, I'm perfectly fine with a good troll every now and then. I'm a troll. We like to troll people. Me and Mike troll people. We'll go troll Cole over at How About Those Chiefs all the time just for fun. And he does the same thing to us. And like we get trolling. It's fun. But these people are people that supported you since day one and helped you build your career to where it's at. And they've supported you the whole time. So I think that's a touchy one, right? Like it's okay to troll a little bit, poke fun, whatever it is, get everybody riled up a little bit. But there's a cutoff point. Like you got to draw the line somewhere. And I feel like maybe it's just gone on a little too far. But maybe not. Depends on how much of a troll you actually are. So I'm not mad at it. You guys throw some legendary, some catch-ups in the chat for Yogi and Jack. Appreciate the support, guys. Goes a long way. Thank you very much. If you guys haven't hit that like button yet, be sure to just go hit the like button. Also an easy way to support. It just takes a second to go do that. If you're new to the channel, thanks for joining. Usually I have a sidekick here with me, Mike, but he's on the road tonight driving back in home from Chicago. He might be able to catch the tail end of this stream. Might. We'll see how it goes. If you guys can keep me occupied long enough, we can do that. But definitely just going to be getting your comments and stuff. I've pretty much said everything I have to say about what's going on and about what I'm expecting to see in the game tomorrow. So, yeah, keep the comments rolling in. I'll try to keep up with you guys, and we'll go from there. Maybe we'll be able to stick it out for Mike. What we got here? Calhoun says, y'all recall CJ Sack falling out during his 4-time 40. How could anyone forget that, Calhoun? That was one of the best things that's ever happened in sports history. I don't care what anybody says. His shorts couldn't contain him. Chris Jones could not be held back. Okay. That's so funny. And if you guys have seen the clip where they're talking about it on Joe Rogan, just those two guys watching it and laughing about it, so freaking hilarious. One of the greatest moments in sports history. I don't care what anybody says. The fact that the poor guy had to fall on it. He fell on it just to make sure everybody didn't see it. It's too late though, Chris. It's too late. That's freaking awesome. James says, if the DBs hold up, I think the D-line can still get pressures. That's the thing, James. I think you're right. I think Coburn even, he had the most pressures he's ever had, like his last year in college. I think he can do things like that. And I think obviously Turk Wharton can. And even when Dan is on the inside, he's effective. George is effective from the inside. But yeah, I think they can still get pressure if the DBs can hold up. But that's the big question there. We have a young defensive back room, and granted, they've played out of their minds in the last year and a couple games now. Have a lot of faith in those guys. I think they were excellent last year. I mean, we would have never won the Super Bowl if those 5 rookies didn't play the way they did. So all the respect in the world to those guys. I think they're great. But at the same time, you have to remember they're still young. They're still learning. Jalen was 7th rounder, man. Like I was on here, right here on All Chiefed Up, saying Jalen was not going to make the squad. He was going to be no more than a practice squad guy. And I'm so glad that he proved me completely wrong, because Jalen was awesome last year and love the guy. I think he's an awesome guy. I watch his interviews and stuff. Cool story. His backstory is amazing. But yeah, Josh Williams is good as well. But the thing about it is, man, we saw them with Chris Jones type pressure. So when you have that constant pressure in the middle and you're on the quarterback, he don't have as much time. It does cover up a lot of bad. I want to say bad, because I don't think they ever play bad, but it covers up some bad safety play or corners plays. I should say coverage. Covers that up a little bit when you get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, when they don't have as much time to hold on to the ball. So I think that not having Chris Jones would not be a good thing for the young cornerbacks. I don't want to say they would completely cave and it would be bad, but I don't think it would get any easier for those guys, and I think they need that in there. So definitely want to see him back, and I think he will be back. That's all there is to it. Chiefs report. Lewis says Chiefs reporter saying sign Akeem Hicks and trade Chris Jones. No, I'm good. Don't want to do it. I don't think there's any trade out there worth Chris Jones right now. Like nothing feasible anyway. Like nothing that would actually happen, I don't think is worth what you're losing by getting rid of Chris Jones. Like nothing's worth it. Whether it's 1st round draft pick, 2 1st round draft picks. At this juncture, I don't believe any of it's worth Chris Jones. I think you're at a time in the Chiefs franchise. We've talked about it, man. Like we're in Patrick Mahomes' prime. We're in the middle of a dynasty. Now's not the time to play games with big pieces of your team. Like Chris Jones is huge. Without Chris Jones, we wouldn't be where we're at. He's just as important to this team as Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid. Like he's played that big of a role in that defense. So if you just boot it out right now, you're taking a big risk. Like you're playing with fire. And it's a lot of you guys that think just trading off Chris Jones and be done with it because, you know, you're in your feels about it right now, or you're just tired of hearing about it like me. It's one of those things, man. You're going to look back and you don't know what you got till it's gone. I think it would be one of those situations where you're like, damn, really wish Chris Jones was still around here. Yeah, I've seen where people are reporting that the Bears have been trying to contact the Chiefs about Chris Jones. I don't know that for sure, but I don't doubt anything at this point. I think there's a lot of teams out there that would love to get their hands on Chris Jones. So I think if they think there's a chance that they could make a trade for him, they've definitely got in touch with the Chiefs. That don't mean that Brett Veach is playing ball with them or even entertained that, but I think they've probably reached out. I mean, we got the best defensive tackle in football, and he's not happy right now, and you don't get that extension done. There are going to be some people reaching out. You can almost bet that. I would definitely say so. The Bears, I think, are one of those teams as well. I said that a long time ago. If there was a trade target, I think the Bears would be one. I think Dallas would be one as well. They'd love to get their hands on Chris Jones. So, yep. Lewis, you said the Commanders as well. I haven't heard anything about that. I don't know why the Commanders would necessarily be after him. They got Deron Payne. They just paid him a bunch of money, like $94 million over 4 years or something like that. He's a great player. Me and Mike were talking about how it'd be awesome to have Deron Payne on the Chiefs with Chris Jones. That was somebody that we were targeting before last season. And, of course, he signed that extension with them. He's a great player. But maybe they have the same idea me and Mike did, like pair those two up, and that'd be nasty. But I haven't heard anything about the Commanders. So you guys don't like the NBC analyst. Kevin Cable says the Chiefs should make all NBC analysts stay outside Arrowhead, especially Mike Florio. He will probably sneak into the offices to read Chiefs payroll. You ain't joking, Kevin. That guy's obsessed with these guys' pay. He probably knows every dime that Patrick Mahomes spends in his life. Like what he spent it on. Was it necessary? Or are you just blowing money, Patrick? What are you wasting money for? You're poor. They didn't pay you what you should get paid. You can't be wasting money. You're not eating out today, Patrick. You're cooking at home. You're having a hamburger helper. You're on a budget. Inflation's bad. Florio's a slap nuts. Y'all throw some slap nuts in the chat for Mike Florio. Good call on that one. Yeah, Shaft, I think this is definitely, I like this comment because you see this all the time. When it's time to get paid, your worth, fans always are ready to get rid of you. It's the truth. Like, especially Chiefs fans, and obviously I love Chiefs fans. Like, I'm a Chiefs fan. I don't care who you are, whether we get along or not, or we think the same thing or don't. We're all Chiefs Kingdom, baby. So love everybody, but I do think that there's this connotation, especially with a lot of the fans that maybe not the new like bandwagoner fans per se. I don't even really care to use that term, but if somebody's only been around since Mahomes got here, something like that, they might not be as bad. But a lot of the older guys that went through the last couple of GMs, you just got kind of set. Well, not Dorsey. Dorsey liked to spend money. He got everybody in cap trouble. But Pioli, Peterson, those guys kind of gave it's like they set a standard where you don't pay anybody ever. And it's like Chiefs fans really attached to that. Like, nobody's worth this much money. That's too expensive. We can't pay for that. You see a lot of Chiefs fans that are still in that mindset, like where we don't need to go get this guy. That's too much money, or we don't need to pay this guy this much money. No one's worth that much money, and money. And really, I don't even think half the people necessarily understand the salary cap. Not saying I do. I'm not no expert, but that's why I don't really care. It's like, I think if Brett Veach thinks you can pay somebody X amount of money, then I think it's fine to pay them the X amount of money. Because Brett Veach is the guy that gets paid to do that. So if he thinks Chris Jones can feasibly be paid $28 million a year and it's okay, then I think it's okay because I trust Brett Veach. I think that he's not going to make a decision that's detrimental to the Chiefs later on. They got to do something about the salary cap right now because obviously they can't even sign practice squad players. So something's got to get done. We'll see where that money gets freed up from. But yeah, Shaft, I think you're right. A lot of people, when it's time for these guys to get paid, they're done with them. It's like they want to get all the production in the world out of them while they're cheap. And then, you know what? You earn this money, but go get it somewhere else. I don't want the Chiefs to be that team. I don't. I think you're going to see it with certain positions. But defensive tackle, a generational type player like Chris Jones, that's not something you mess with. Now, L'Jarius Sneed, he's going to be due a big contract. I love L'Jarius Sneed. I want him to be a Chief, but I'm not going to be mad if he's not because we don't pay corners. So I'm expecting him to go somewhere else to get his payday, much like Charvarius Ward. I think it's just one of those things, man. We don't pay corners. And if you look at our corner room and all the young talent, it makes 0 sense to pay a corner that much money. What everybody's talking about saving money and money, those are the positions that you need to look at. Like, we don't want to go at a position where we're not necessarily deep at, like defensive tackle, and you got a generational type player. That's not where you mess with that type of thing. You save your money in other places. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, they take less on their contracts to have pieces in place like Chris Jones. But then when Chris Jones doesn't get paid, that's not a good look for the Chiefs as far as Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce go, because they're like, hey, we took less to have players like this, and you're not getting it done. Like, how long are they going to keep taking less before they're just like, hey, pay me the money that you're not giving to the players that we want here? So there's that to think about. And I mean, Patrick Mahomes has straight out said Jones. He used his name. Like, it's for people like Chris Jones. Chris Jones is a guy that, I mean, he's got to take his money where he can get it. He's got to get on his contract. Defensive tackles don't have that luxury for the most part. There's some outliers. Aaron Donald's one of them. But for the most part, majority, they don't get a bunch of, endorsement deals and things like that. You don't see them on television. You don't see them, like Travis Kelce, man. He took less on his contract. He's still the second highest paid in the league as far as tight ends go. He's second highest paid. That's all Chris Jones is trying to be. Think about that for a second. I think Lance Twidwell from The Spoken actually put this on Twitter or X or whatever earlier. But everybody gets mad about Chris Jones asking for the amount of money he's asking for. But all he's doing is trying to be the second highest paid guy in his position. That's what Travis Kelce is. Obviously, Travis Kelce's the best, and Chris Jones is arguably the best with Aaron Donald, on the back end of his career. So it's weird to put things into perspective like that. Yeah, Chief Kelce, highest paid positions. I clicked the wrong thing. I'm sorry. We don't care about Nightbot. Highest paid positions: quarterback, wide receiver, left tackle, defensive end. That's correct. But the thing about, I think the difference with like people like Chris Jones and Aaron Donald is they are so uncommon. Like, you don't always get defensive tackles that can apply the pressure or get the sacks and the production that these guys can get. Like, that's not common with defensive tackles. So they're a bit of an outlier on this. So I'm not opposed to paying guys like that a good amount of money. But no, you're correct. Apparently on the Chiefs, it's right tackle, not left tackle. So just throwing that out there. We'll see how that plays out. So far, though, so good. Have you guys noticed the first step that Jawan Taylor gets? When you guys watch the game against the Cardinals, it looks like he's offsides. It looks like he's jumping offsides every play. And if you go back and you watch it, he doesn't. He does not. He's just got such a phenomenal first step that he looks like he's jumping offsides. And that's awesome. That's probably why he's such a good pass blocker, to be quite honest. He gets himself in that position so fast that he doesn't allow a lot of guys to get around him. Would like to see him step up his run game, though. Run blocking this year, we talk about the offensive line being an upgrade, and I think as a whole it is. I'll say that right now. Donovan Smith's looked pretty dang good so far. Jawan Taylor's looked really good so far. I think he's better than Wiley, obviously. I think Donovan Smith, it's kind of a push with Orlando Brown. I think that he might be better in some areas and not as good in some areas. But I do think that Jawan Taylor's better than Andrew Wiley. But if you go back and you look, like Mike actually brought this up the other day, if you go back and look at PFF grades, Andrew Wiley actually had a graded out higher than Jawan Taylor last year because Jawan Taylor is such a bad run blocker. So I don't like that. Um, Donovan Smith's not as good of a run blocker as OBJ was. So we've kind of taken a step back on run blocking. Um, we'll see how big of a effect that has. I mean, we're not a team that runs the ball just all the time anyway, right? We're always yelling to, hey, Andy, you think you might want to run the ball sometime today? So, I mean, it might not be a big deal, but I do think we're taking a step back there. But we are getting better in pass protection, which is the most important thing when you're throwing the ball 95% of the time and you have the most valuable asset in the NFL back there to protect. So, Mahomes don't make it easy on them offensive linemen, though. So that's one thing I like. One thing I noticed in, I believe it was the Cardinals game. Yeah, this is the Cardinals game. The very first drive, Patrick Mahomes was running around like a chicken with his head cut off. It kind of reminded you of Super Bowl 55. Like, this guy's running for his life here, man. This ain't good. We're supposed to have this upgraded offensive line, and our quarterback's out here running crazy. And of course, it got better throughout the game, and they actually looked really, really solid the rest of the game. The adjustment that Juwan Taylor and Donovan Smith are going to have to make to their games because of the way that Patrick Mahomes plays football, that's going to be the interesting development that I want to see. Can they adapt quickly to that? And I think they did that the other day against Arizona. I think they kind of realized it's a little bit different than what we're used to. This guy's going to run out of the pocket, even if it's clean. This guy's going to do some crazy things. He's going to hold on to the ball way too long because that's just how Patrick Mahomes plays. And I think they got to adjust to that. You got Donovan Smith coming off of playing with Tom Brady, who gets the ball away faster than anybody in the freaking league. And then Trevor Lawrence don't hold on to the ball like Patrick Mahomes. So I'm interested to see if they can make that adjustment. So Jake Kelsey, have a good night, my man. Thanks for hanging out with me. I know I'm not as entertaining without my sidekick, but we holding it down. I'm half asleep too. I've been going all day. It's been a busy week. I've been traveling for work. So last week I traveled probably about I want to say an 80 mile to 90 mile round trip for work. And this week's similar in a different place. So it's been a lot of driving, a lot of working, and then jumping on and doing these types of things. So trying to keep it all together and still look like I have a little bit of energy for you guys. But it's been a hectic couple of weeks. One of these days we're gonna go full time doing this, and I can not have to leave for work. That's the goal, baby. I want to do this full time. We're gonna have more content. I saw where somebody left a comment on our last podcast, and they were like, "What's up with these 25-minute podcasts? They're annoying. They need to be 30 minutes or an hour." And it's like, man, I tell you what, if YouTube paid the bills for me and I could devote full time, you would have an hour podcast every day. Every day. Like that's how we are. We love doing this. Me and Mike love it. We love doing the content. We just do what we can though. Like if we got time, we'll do it. I mean, one night I got in super late and literally stayed up way past midnight just recording, then edited, set up the release, slept for 4 hours and got up and started driving back to work. So I mean, we'll make it happen. We'll definitely make it happen when we can. So we're not just throwing out short content to spite you. I believe that was Jared. Can't remember his last name. Might be Williams. Same as me. And if I forgot that, then that's sad. Dun, dun. Pacheco. That's something I wanted to ask. Like I said, I'm not up to date. I didn't get to read much today. I haven't heard anything from anybody. Pacheco, they were talking about him maybe getting some touches in this game coming up. Have they confirmed or denied that? Like, I want to know if he's actually going to get in there and get some touches in the preseason. I mean, obviously, if it's too early, I'm not down with that. Like, it's not necessary. But if it's okay, if he's cleared, I think it'd be good for him to get in there and knock some rust off for sure. But I don't know if any of you guys saw anything about that. Just let me know in the chat if you did. Yeah, Lewis, I think Aaron Donald, you can say he's as good as Chris Jones. I think they're pretty equal right now. You almost have to give the nod to Aaron Donald just because of the longevity that he's been doing this, and he's like crazy good. Um, but Chris Jones is knocking on the door. Like he's right there with him. So will he get Aaron Donald money? No, because I do think Aaron Donald, his contract's kind of like the outlier contract, right? Like you know how like in the quarterback situation that was going on when Lamar was wanting this much money and everybody wanted this much money, it was like, well, Deshaun got this much, and this much was guaranteed money, but no one would give them that, even though they're as good or better quarterbacks. I think the problem was they overpaid, and I think that's what happened with Aaron Donald. I think they overshot his contract. So I think it's a bit of an outlier. So to think that Chris Jones could get what he's getting, I think is a misconception. I don't think that Chris Jones is worth the money Aaron Donald is making. I don't think Aaron Donald is worth the money that Aaron Donald's making. I think they went a little bit too high for what the market was calling at that time. It eventually catch back up to there, but I think Chris Jones is worth, honestly, he's worth every bit of 28 million. And if you pushed it all the way to 30, I wouldn't even be mad at it. But I just think that that's kind of a bit of an outlier. Cole, I am alone. Mike's driving in from Chicago. So if you want to come hang out with me, you can do that. Just say I will save you, Steve, and I'll send you a link. Yeah, Mike's on his way back from Chicago. I think he was just got out through Indianapolis, so he's almost back. We'll see if we're still hanging out when Mike gets here. If not, then he missed out. He don't get to hang out with anybody tonight. It's on him. It's the solo act. Solo acts are never as good as the real thing, though. You know it? It's never quite as good. Got Matt with a 2. Appreciate you, Matt. I clicked Enrique. Man, I'm telling you, my computer's fighting me today. My mouse died. I used this trackpad, and it just won't let me click the right thing. Matt, appreciate the 2. Says if Chiefs D's just fine without Jones, yes or F no. In my opinion, right now, F no. I don't think they're fine without Chris Jones. I think they need him. I think every position on the defense needs Chris Jones. I think it's a domino effect. I think you don't have Chris Jones, you don't get those double teams, you don't get those triple teams, you don't get that pressure on the quarterback, which makes the linebackers' jobs harder, makes the cornerbacks' jobs harder. I think that you would see that without Chris Jones. So I don't think they're just fine. I would never say that. Do I think they would still win games? Yeah, sure. I think we got the best offense in the league, so we're still going to win games. The defense wouldn't become just hot garbage. I think they'd still be okay, but you go from being a top 5, top 10 defense to becoming a bottom half easily, like pretty fast without Chris Jones. But it kind of goes both ways. Like I was saying earlier, if Chris holds out regular season time, yeah, it could be detrimental to him because what if it looks like they don't need him? You know what I'm saying? So that just hurts him in contract negotiations. I think Chris will be there for game 1. What about you, Cole? You think Chris is going to be there game 1? Because I personally do. I didn't get to watch your video, but I think you alluded to that in one of your last videos that you put up. I saw it, but I didn't get to watch it. But no, you're all good, Cole. You're good, my man. I was just playing anyway. You gotta get that back fixed, sir. I have a bad back too, so I feel you, man. It sucks. It's something we inherited from our father. A lovely gift he left. James says, minus the bonehead D Ford, we would have been 5 Super Bowls in 6 years. Man, does that still make you guys as sick as it does me? Like, I don't even hate D Ford for it because, crap happens, but it's just disgusting, isn't it? You're not wrong. Appreciate the 10, Eric. Y'all put some catch-ups in the chat for Eric and Matt and everybody else has been donating. He says, y'all have great content. This time next year, I bet you can go full-time. Just takes time. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a grind, man. Heck, Cole's killing it, and it took him a minute. So he's a YouTube beast. I'm sure he's live streaming the game tomorrow. I'm almost positive he is. He can correct me if I'm wrong. Me and Mike will be doing live reactions afterwards. So during the game, if you guys need somewhere to hang out, or if you can't see the game or you're at work, pop an earbud in, turn on Cole's live stream. He does a really good job of live streaming the games, and which props to him, because I don't think me and Mike can do it. I get too caught up in the game, and we'd probably be demonetized in like the first quarter. Too much cussing and stuff. I don't know. Breaking stuff, violence on YouTube. I don't know. It'd be something. But yeah, we'll be around for our post-game reaction, so y'all can catch that. Josh, man, it don't matter what I do. Ice, heat's worse than ice. Ice is better. But yeah, it's just always bad. I've never really went and got it checked out, so. Heck yeah, Cole. Hey, go as long as you want to, man. We'll just get on after the game. It's no big deal. But yeah, so he's going to be live streaming. So if you don't have anything to do for the game, go check that out. Never tried acupuncture. I don't know about Cole. I don't know what all he's done for his back. But I'm not big into digging too far, because I don't want to have to go like a surgery route or something. I've heard those are never good. So I'll just deal. It's like it comes and goes. Like sometimes I'm fine, and then sometimes it sucks. So yeah, Cole, you're right. Everybody goes live post game, like everybody. So it's a crapshoot, but we're gonna do it anyway. Gotta get on there and get those instant reactions out. That way we can overreact. Get it on camera. Scott Crosser says Steve might break a vacuum and YouTube suspend him for 4 games. I might pull a Willie Gay. That could be it. There's probably a vacuum around here for me to break somewhere. But yeah, we get a little crazy when we watch the games. Depends, especially like the games with implications. You gotta tread lightly around this household when those games are on. It gets a little wild. Aladdin's lamp didn't work for your back, Cole. Yeah, I mean, I tried the chiropractor. I went that route, and I feel like it helped my back marginally, but not enough for me to keep doing it. And they cracked my neck one time, and I heard like a helicopter sound in my right ear for a month after that. So that was enough of the voodoo doctor chiropractors for me. I was done after that. I'm like, oh yeah, this reminds me that they're not real medical doctors, and I probably shouldn't let them crack my neck like that. I'm glad that went away. Man, everybody's got back problems. I can't be complaining. Everybody in the chat. Yeah, Cole, my ear wasn't ringing. Like if you take your ear or like your finger and just tap your ear, like but kind of fast, kind of like a helicopter sound. I was hearing that from the inside of my right ear for like a month straight. I didn't think it was ever going to go away. I didn't know what the heck they did. But it was right after chiropractor cracked my neck, so I just quit going, man. I was like, it's not worth all that. If I did go back, they definitely wouldn't touch my neck. That's for sure. Kind of pizza did I have? I had crappy pizza, Gary. I didn't have time to really take a lunch today, so like next door to where I was working was like a Little Caesar, so I just like ordered on my phone and ran there and grabbed it real quick. So I had the old good cheap stuff, like a $5 pizza or something. And Mike in Chicago eating at Lou Malnati sending me pictures was not very nice while I was eating my Little Caesar's pizza. What a jerk. Who does that? Dude, Cole, I've seen stuff like this. I actually saw like something on TV where a guy had like a moth in his ear, and there was another one where I think a spider had crawled in his ear at night or something. It was crazy. There's some crazy stuff that goes on. T-Bone, you're Giordano's guy. A lot of people like Giordano's. I'm a Lou Malnati's guy, but I mean, they're all good. Chicago pizza is great. That butter crust, it's freaking delicious. It's almost not even a pizza, right? It's kind of like a really good lasagna. Nah, it's good. I love it. More of a New York style, like thin. Like I don't know if you guys watch like Dave Portnoy from Barstool does all the one bite stuff, all his reviews. My tastes are very similar to his. Like I like thin, not like super thin and crispy, but thinner on the thinner side, light, crispy, a little overcooked. That's my jam right there. Oh yeah, Brotherly Love sending in his pictures of Lou Malnati's while I ate Little Caesars. Yeah, Jeremiah, fire brick oven. Heck yeah, man. Oh, so more about this game tomorrow. I think Mahomes takes no snaps. Did anybody ever answer me in the chat? Have you heard anything about Pacheco? Like, is he actually going to get to play some? I know they talked about him maybe being able to take some snaps. If y'all put it in the chat already, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be annoying, but I didn't catch anything today. Call with a freaking 20 bomb. Says pizza on me tomorrow as payback for my 20K pizza y'all sent me. Appreciate you guys more than you know. Hey man, we appreciate you, Cole. You've helped us since day one, my man. So we appreciate you for sure. Because we didn't really didn't know a whole lot about this YouTube thing, and yeah, Cole's always been cool to us and helped us out. So definitely the feelings mutual, man, and I appreciate that. I will get us some pizza tomorrow, and it's on you. Get at Papa John's and have them right. 20K on it and pepperonis, just for old time's sake. That was great when that happened, though. It's so funny because we've talked about this story so many times, but it's still funny when I think back to it because I was literally clueless, man. Like, I was like chilling. I just got in from work or something that day. I don't remember. And I literally just kicked back and I got on YouTube and I actually saw where you were live, Cole. I was like, oh, it's the 20K celebration. Like, I'm going to watch this for a while. Click on it. I wasn't on there for 2 minutes. And Mike calls my phone and he's like, hey, man, are you watching Cole's live stream? Like, yeah. And he's like, just stay on there. Don't turn it off. And I'm like, why? And he's like, I sent him a pizza. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I sent him a pizza. And I was like, how the hell did you get his address? Like, what do you mean you sent him a pizza? He's like, I have my ways. He's like, I have my ways. He's like, just wait. So yeah, it was great. It was great. I like I said, it was as much of a surprise to me as it was for you, Cole. It was so funny. Pacey says he found this channel. Why do I keep clicking the one below it? Pacey says he found this channel from Cole. Yeah, man. A lot of people found us from Cole's. We share a lot of the same crew. It's awesome. A lot of good people. So it's a good back and forth. Yeah, man, I remember you were about to get off, and then like you'd actually said you were getting offline, and then I don't even remember why you stuck around. I think you just got caught up in a question or two, and then somehow it timed out just perfect. So that was awesome. I did get to catch some of your live stream earlier, Cole, but I was driving. I like put it on. I think you were making a 53-man roster, but I was like driving, so I was kind of just more listening than watching. And I didn't get to see how it turned out. I didn't get to see the finished product of the community 53-man roster. I'm sure it was interesting. Me and Mike are going to do our 53-man predictions right after the game tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and work on that. And we'll release those. Like I said, we'll record probably Sunday night for Monday morning podcast. We'll go ahead and get it released then because I think, we might have to do it before that. I think what's cut day? 29th? 29th. Yeah, I think that'll work out perfect, actually. So Hey, have a good night, Chiefer. Thanks for hanging out, man. I think we're going to do good on it this year. I think we got this. Okay, yeah. So cut day's Tuesday. You're going to release yours on Sunday? Yeah, ours will probably be on Monday, I think, when we'll actually release it, more than likely. I think I've pretty much already made my mind up on my 53. I'm sure me and Mike, we always go back and forth a little bit on a few things, though, and we'll kind of meet in the middle and go that route. So we'll see how that goes. I think right now the only one that I feel like might bite me on predictions is I'm really big on Hallisey, and I always have been. So I kind of have this like little special place in my heart for him because, man, y'all have no idea how excited I was when I found out the Chiefs actually got him as a UDFA, because I was like, I want this guy in the draft. Western Kentucky guy. So he's just right up the road from us in Bowling Green. And I was like, this dude is sick, dude. And he's awesome. And then I saw where the Chiefs met with him. So I'm like, dude, perfect. I was already thinking that'd be a good match. And then I was like, they'll take him in the 7th round. They didn't take him in the 7th round. I'm like, oh, I think on the draft live stream we did, I was like, well, definitely going to grab Khalif Hallisey as a UDFA. They didn't get him in the 7th round. They took Nick Jones. And then I see that he signed with the Jets. And I was like, dang. And then the next thing I know, the next morning, something happened and he ended up with the Chiefs. I don't know what the heck happened, but worked out great. Hey, Cole, have a good one, man. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the freaking 20 bomb. I will enjoy some delicious pizza tomorrow on you, my man. Much appreciated. And thanks for everything that you do for us and the rest of Chiefs Kingdom, man. We all appreciate your hard work. So you do good things. Keep it rolling. Hardest working man on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, there's some other good guys. I see where T-Bone was saying ACU and HBTC. RGR, I like RGR. It's time and a place for everybody, though. I feel like I've said it before. I feel like Chiefs fans, and I'm not just like tooting my own horn or anything like that, but I feel like Chiefs fans have a better selection of like YouTube content than any other team. Like if you start looking at other teams' YouTube content, which I have done on occasion just out of curiosity, man, a lot of them suck. I ain't gonna lie. But like with Chiefs, like whatever you want, whatever you're in the mood for, you got it, man. You want the news as fast as you can get it and just literally be entertained on top of it. Cole's got you. You want some people going back and forth, a little bit of banner, being stupid, having a little bit of fun. Me and Mike's here. You want the analytical guys, you got RGR. You got Seth Kaiser out there that does good stuff. I think he does it with RGR as well. Man, you got a lot of stuff. There's a lot of different channels, and they keep popping up, man. Chiefs, I've realized Chiefs YouTube channels and Chiefs podcasts are insane. Like they pop up out of the blue like every day, just growing and growing and growing, which makes sense. I mean, the Chiefs are the biggest franchise in sports probably right now, so they all getting in while the getting's good, I guess. So I expect to see much more. Yeah, KCSN. I can't forget about KCSN. Those guys are dope. They're doing a lot. That's a big thing they got going on over there. They cover a lot of sports. I think BJ Kissel's doing that. They have a lot going on. Two people that I really, really like from KCSN, Matt Lane, which shout out Chief Kelsey. That's his boy. Matt Lane's awesome. And then our girl, Haley Lewis, she just got on with KCSN. She'll be doing some hosting stuff with them. So, yeah, man, they do good stuff too. They had all kinds of great footage at camp and stuff that we were able to use. So that we appreciated that big time. That was awesome. Yeah, Zimbauer, I've heard of Kingdom's Queens, but I have not really watched it. I ain't gonna lie. I think Lexi is on Kingdom Queens. She's on our Twitter. So it's kind of like we're in the same like conversations and stuff sometimes. Like maybe even I think Mark Gunnels had us come on a few of the X spaces, the Twitter spaces. And she was on there. Another one that I don't want to forget about, Chief Concerns. They're awesome. Marcus Dash does good work. And then our boy Jason Dunn. Dunn's a beast. Gotta love him. Him and Mike, I saw him trolling some people on X the other day together. So I enjoyed reading that when I had time. Like, what have you all been up to? Man. A lot of good Chiefs content, though. Like I said, there's a little bit of everything for everybody. So, very cool. James, I know what you're talking about, brother. Yeah. Scrambling Armchair. Forgot about him. I don't know who that is. I feel like it's a mystery. Do you ever just sit down and you're like, I wonder who this guy is? And then you investigate it? I mean, I haven't done that, but I think it'd be funny if you guys did it and reported back on who the Scrambling Armchair is. He's like anonymous. You said he's monotone. What's funny is when I first heard it, I thought it was an AI. I really did. And I'm not throwing shade because he does good work too. But when I first heard it, I thought it was AI or like one of those type things. And then I realized it wasn't. But yep. He's more of a podcast style as well. Something else I was going to run by you guys while I got you here. We've been discussing kind of how, we got a lot going on with work and things like that, and the season getting ready to kick off, and we want to put out as much content as we can for you guys. So something that we kicked around, and I actually alluded to it earlier, where I was talking about somebody commenting on us making shorter podcasts and how we should always do 30 minutes to an hour. We can pretty much devote like a 45 to an hour, 45 minute to an hour podcast, like twice a week, probably easy. So that's where we're at. But we were thinking like for the other days of the week, like maybe 3 days of the week outside of that, doing micro podcasts or mini podcasts where we do the same. It's exactly the same structure, same kind of content, but it's just in like a 10-minute chunk. Like we'll cover like one hot topic or something like that. That way we can put out more content for you guys. And then there's a lot of people that don't have 45 minutes to sit and watch a YouTube video. So it might help us bring in a little bit of different people as well. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. If you think that'd be something that you guys be interested in. Pacey, you rewatched the pizza delivery? I'll have to go back and rewatch it sometime when I have time. I bet it's funny, especially now because I haven't really watched it since then. But yeah, we've been talking about doing the, of course, the normal video pods be about an hour long. And then we're talking about doing some more mini podcasts in between, give you guys some more content. Still doing as many live streams as we can do. Pre-game, post-game, maybe something else during the week if we can, like the War Room Wednesday, stuff like that. And then doing shorts. We want to get back. We quit doing shorts for the longest time because we were just trying to see something, basically. Trying to see how it affected certain things. And I think we're going to get back into doing a lot more shorts. So we'll be dropping the content for you. We'll be grinding for sure this season. I'm excited, dude. So glad that the season's back in. One more preseason game, baby. And it's football time. And all you people, yeah, I see you guys talking about it. Cindy, you say you watch everything ACU. Appreciate that. Just the amount of people that do watch our content, it's pretty humbling because I'm going to be honest. When we first started, we were just going to do the podcast, and then YouTube was kind of an afterthought. And then we got on YouTube and we sucked at it, and it was awkward. And but we enjoyed it, so we kept pushing that route as well as the podcast. And then eventually we just got to where we blended the two together, right? Like we went full on video podcast. Just because it seemed like we have a space there. Like there's room for that in the Chiefs content on YouTube. So that's where we ultimately settled in at. So I hope you enjoy the content. And we appreciate you guys watching and supporting. Like I said, it's pretty humbling. I never thought this many people would subscribe and watch and interact. And it's been awesome because that was the main reason we did it. Just try to get some interaction and talk to other Chiefs fans. And man, I love coming on here and doing the live streams like tonight. could have very easily just, wrote it off and been like, hey, we got things going on. But like, it's like, you know what? I'm going to wing it myself just because I want to go hang out and talk with everybody. So, yeah, it's always a good time. I appreciate you guys, all you members. You guys are amazing. If you're not a member yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that join button. It's $4.99. And you get the monthly members only live stream. We actually got another one coming up soon. It's first Thursday of every month. We do that, and we try to give away something or a few things. We gave away ACU merch. We gave away signed Derek Johnson jersey on the first giveaway. We're doing some Super Bowl ring replicas, like all kinds of different things we try to give away. So you should, if you're not a member, you should hit that join button and be one. 100%. It's a good place, a good crew. Everybody's awesome. It's a great chat. Man, Nightbot puts in work on our channel. I noticed that. Like, he's on here a lot. Like, I've considered being like, I don't know anything about Nightbot. But I've considered being like, maybe he needs to calm down a little bit. What do y'all think? Does he bug you in the chat? It is cool though, because a lot of things we don't remember to even say. It's a nice reminder right there in the chat. Like, hey, I haven't told anybody to hit the like button lately. If you haven't done that, hit that like button for me. Help me out. Also, something else I always forget is our store, our merch store. If you just go to merch.allchiefedup.com, got a bunch of merch. And any way to support the channel. I mean, whether you're doing super chat, super stickers here on YouTube, or you're buying merchandise, like it all goes the same place. It all goes to keeping the channel rolling and growing and all that good stuff. So we appreciate all of that. Plus, you get something in return. Get you a nice little t-shirt or a nice hoodie or a hat. I need to get me a hat off there. As many hats as I have, and I don't have an all chiefed up hat. That's freaking ridiculous now, isn't it? Jeremiah said that Nightbot's a little annoying. Well, go easy on him. He's doing the Lord's work. So somebody else, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. I think I did, but I do want to see some stuff out of Noah Gray. I was saying I think he's going to be the successor for Travis Kelce. I think that's what kind of where the Chiefs are at with it. Yeah, I know it's kind of random, but I just remembered it's something I wanted to talk about. Noah Gray, I think that's where the Chiefs are at with a successor to Travis Kelce. That's a conversation we have a lot. Like, are they going to draft one? We thought they might draft Brian Parrott. He thought they were all in on Dalton Kincaid. I saw a lot of people that were mad that we didn't take Michael Mayer in the first round instead of Felix, because people are really wanting to fill that role. And I think the reason why they haven't done it, because even last year they missed on Greg Dulcich. I think Dulcich is going to be a beast for Denver. I mean, he was last season. But I think they really trust Noah Gray. I think they're relying on Noah Gray. So with that being said, I think he's going to get more work this year. So I want to see him have a good game in the snaps that he gets tomorrow. I'd like to see some more out of him. Jody Fortson was a contender, I suppose, but Jody Fortson, God love him, can't stay on the football field, and he's had a rough go at it. I hate it for the guy too, man, because I like Jody Fortson. So it is what it is. It sucks, but KL says, "Holy Jesus, man, you're still streaming." Yeah, I'm still streaming. We're an hour and 48 minutes right now. That's light work, KL. It might be boring. I don't have Mike with me, but I'm hanging out and talking. I'm having a good time. So yeah, still hanging in there. Do I get to sleep at all? Not much. Not much. You know, between 7 kids and a lot of work, a lot of traveling for work, and a lot of YouTube. Not much, but we're all good. We're all good. Just doing the grind. I don't know if Mike's even close, but I haven't heard anything out of Mike at all. I thought he might be able to swing into this bad boy before it ended, which not going to end right just yet, but we are drawing near, right? I mean, usually 2 hours is about the max on the pregame ones. But hey, have a good night, Night Hunter. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Rubbing down ribs for the game tomorrow. I want some freaking ribs. Sounds delicious. I ain't had any ribs in a while. Even when I was in KC, we didn't even really get to. Didn't get to do a whole lot. Went to Pigwich, got a sandwich, and then we ate at Zarda, of course, at the hangout. But we didn't really do much else other than that. So I didn't even get to get any ribs. Didn't get no Gates, no Q39, no Jack Stack, no slaps. Michael Howard, a new member. We appreciate you, my man. Welcome to the ACU crew. Good to have you. Y'all throw some catch-ups in the chat for the new member. Yeah, Chief Kelsey, I don't think I'll be going solo anytime soon, man. I don't know. It's like, I don't hate it. It's just it's weird when you're used to having two. Definitely weird. Yeah, burnt ends are my favorite, obviously. I think it's everybody's little meat marshmallow. Gotta love it. My favorite burnt ends, though, that's always the question. Like, who makes the best burnt ends in Kansas City? And there's so many places that have such, like, so good ones. But I tell you what, I'm gonna be honest. I think, like, if I say that, like, all these restaurants, I catch them at their best. Say it, like, when they're really, really good, I still think Jack Stack burnt ends are my favorite. Them or slaps. One of those two. Q39 has awesome burnt ends too, but when I go there, I get the burnt end burger because that thing's freaking delicious. So it is what it is. I didn't get any burnt ends from Zarda. I've never had them from there. I normally just get the average Joe, which is basically a Z-Man. That's what I got again because I'm like that. I did still want a Mike's burnt ends though from Zarda. They weren't bad. They're not on the same level as those other guys, but it is what it is. Kelly, I appreciate the 10. That's freaking awesome. Says it's been a great stream. Glad I got to catch you in the ACU crew tonight. I'm off for the night. Look forward to post game tomorrow. Hey, Kelly, appreciate you hanging out. It's been fun. Appreciate the support. You're awesome. Thanks for the 10. Goes a long way. You guys make sure to put some legendaries in the chat for Kelly. And you have a good night, Kelly, and we'll see you tomorrow on that post game. Hopefully that'll be a good one. Man, I really hope that the game tomorrow goes as smooth as that Arizona Cardinals game. And it's not just because, like, it don't even matter in the preseason, right? You're just trying to get a good feel for the guys that are trying to make the team, right? But I feel like when people are playing well, the offensive line's playing well and everything's going smooth like that, those guys have more of an opportunity to, like, I feel like it's more seamless. Like, you get out there, play at a high level, where the rest of the time when things are a little dull, it's kind of hard for you to get out there and make a splash. I mean, then again, you can look at it as a way like, hey, it's been pretty dull. And then Khalif Halsey pulls in a ridiculous interception, like in the first preseason game. That was cool for him. He flashed big time, but I feel like it makes it harder for them to get out there and make a splash at it when things are a little stagnant, especially the offensive players. So maybe not. Maybe that's just me. Lewis, you're all good. You say you're playing Madden 24. I haven't played Madden in the last 3 years. Or take that back, probably 2 years. I haven't even, like, I like Madden. I'm a Madden fan. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's the same game year in and year out. And eventually you're just kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like Call of Duty. Like, yeah, I've played this game 100 times. Lewis, what's funny is, let's see. Some of my kids were born in the winter, so doesn't necessarily correlate. But yeah, Kentucky does get some cold winters sometimes. It's pretty brutal. We get the get the crap end of the stick, man. We get cold winters and really, really hot summers. Kentucky weather's not my friend. Only in the fall. KL says, I'm excited for the D line. It sounds like the Browns are running their ones. Yeah, I think they are going to. I don't know. It'd be kind of odd if Deshaun's out there, but I bet he is. Did you guys happen to see where Juan Thornhill compared Patrick Mahomes to Deshaun Watson? He literally said that he sees a lot of Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. And you know what I said about that? I said, blasphemy, Juan Thornhill. Don't you ever compare the GOAT to freaking Whacker. This guy's out there, trying to get touched in the no-no zone by old ladies for $40 while this guy's out here winning Super Bowls, and you want to put them in the same sentence? Blasphemy. This is why I didn't like Juan Thornhill. He's a slap nuts. Always has been. It's just starting to show more. Yeah, Kentucky weather is kind of like Missouri weather. It's like, 1 minute it's beautiful outside, the next minute it's, a tornado, and then it might be snowing at nighttime. Like, it's kind of like that. You guys are making me want to check out Madden just because I haven't in so long, but I don't even have time to play it, so not going to be buying it. When did it drop? Like, did it just come out like the new Madden, or has it been a minute? Gary says, I'm afraid with no CJ, our offense will be under extra pressure to compensate for a man defensive line endangering Pat. That's a possibility. I mean, if you don't have CJ, I do think it takes your defense way down. And then it puts a lot more pressure on your offense naturally because they got to score more points. Which, I mean, with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, you expect to be scoring 28 plus points a game. You just do. Like, I feel like if they don't score 30 sometimes, I feel like they didn't hit the mark. But that's a lot to put on a team because, I mean, it's hard to perform like that week in, week out. But, yeah, I mean, if your defense goes from top 5, top 10 to bottom half, definitely put some more pressure on that offense. And usually Patrick got a lot better last year at being patient and playing smarter, taking what the defense was giving him and not pressing. But when you get in a situation where your defense is not playing well and they're allowing a lot of points, it's easy for someone like Patrick to start pressing. It's just natural. It's like you see a lot of points on the board that you got to make up for. So you might start trying to take that extra shot downfield when you shouldn't and stuff like that. And then that leads to stupid turnovers and everything. So, yeah, it's weird because, like, if you really want to go down that rabbit hole and you really want to reach on it, Chris Jones affects so much. Like, just that one guy can affect a lot of the team, aspect overall. But I think he's going to be there week 1. I still think he's going to be there week 1. Like I said earlier, there's still time for them to get this extension done before the season even starts. So it could happen still. It could happen. Mahomes has not been touched this year yet, Gary says. He was running like crazy at the beginning of that Arizona. It was the first drive. Surprised he didn't get touched. But that pass, though, when he was going out of bounds, man. That was insane. Gary says, do you see the Chiefs score more points this year over last year? That's a good question, Gary. I think the Chiefs offense last year, obviously fantastic. A lot of people thought without Tyreek Hill that they were going to take a step back. We were never on that. I didn't think that they would take a step back. I really didn't. I think the receivers that they were able to get with Juju MVS, I felt like with Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce, you're fine, right? So I didn't see that. This year, I mean, the main difference is you don't have a really trustworthy wide receiver out there, a veteran presence, right? Like the most veteran guys you got is MVS, Justin Watson, and if you want to count Kadarius Toney, even though he's not played for most of the few years he's been in the league, that's the main difference is Juju, right? I think I don't think it's that big of a hit. I'm just going to say it. Like, I love Juju. I was a big proponent of getting Juju last year, and we did, and I was happy about it. And I think he was awesome last year. It was a guy that Mahomes could rely on to move the chains on third down besides Travis Kelce. It was awesome to have him. And I thought Juju was excellent last year. Juju was huge in the Super Bowl. Love the guy. But I don't think losing him is that detrimental. I don't. I think that Sky Moore is going to be able to do a lot of what he was doing. I think that Rashee Rice is going to do a lot of what he was doing. But I think it's kind of the same concept, man. Like last year, you didn't have Tyreek Hill, but you had a lot of these other guys that can do a lot of different things well. And you just kind of piece it together, and the offense even, got even better without Tyreek Hill. Well, I think this year it's the same concept, Gary. I think like you don't have Juju, but now you got Richie James, and you got Rashee Rice, and you got all these other guys that can do a lot of things well. And you still have Sky Moore, who's going to be better this year than last year. He's going to get more opportunities, no doubt about it. I think Sky Moore is going to be great. I think a lot of the Juju role that you see is going to be Sky Moore, and a little bit of it Rashee Rice, and maybe even Justin Ross in the slot. He likes to play out of the slot. Yeah, man. Upgraded offensive line as far as pass protection goes. I think they might score more points this year. It seems like a reach because, they were excellent last year, but I don't see why they couldn't. I think so. I mean, even in the running game, you got Pacheco, who's got a year under his belt now. McKinnon's still going to be McKinnon. Mahomes is going to be Mahomes, and Andy Reid's going to be Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce's going to be Travis Kelce. So everything else tends to seem to fall into place when you have those pieces. So that's where I'm at with it. That is where I'm at with it. Should I call Mike live on stream? Should I just call him and see if he's even close to being home? Do y'all want to see Mike? Do you want me to hang out for a minute to see if Mike comes on, or do you want me to just wrap this bad boy up? Just throw it in the chat because I'm calling him anyway just because I can. I won't speakerphone him. I won't do that to him. He did that to me, but I won't do it to him. He caught me out of a deep sleep. There's no telling what I could have said live. Where you at? Awesome. Hey, well, guess what? We're waiting for you. We want to see you. Chief Kelsey says, let's see Mike. Gary Holland said, call him. So, yeah. Well, you get on, and we're going to give them another good 20 minutes, and we're going to get some Mike perspectives because they're tired of Slapnut Steve tonight. Yep. All right. So Mike just pulled up in his driveway. He just got home, so he's going to run in and jump on for a minute. So if I can jump straight out of my car and run in here and get on a live stream, he can do the same thing, whether he likes it or not. But while we're waiting on him, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight, by the way. I know it's a little bit different. A little bit different when it's just one of us. But we do try to, still get on here and hang out with you guys when we can. So appreciate you guys hanging out with me and bearing with me, trying to keep up with the chat and everything, because actually it would have been much better if I had my mouse. I'm not going to lie. I hate this trackpad. But I appreciate you guys. You guys were awesome. If you guys haven't hit the like button yet, do me a favor, take a minute while we're waiting on Mike to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, you're a Chiefs fan, obviously you wouldn't be here unless you're a troll. And if you're a troll and you're not, trolling too much, hit that sub button, hang out with us more often. We're not opposed to other teams' fans being in here, as long as you're respectful. It's always good to have different perspectives and everything. So yeah, hit that sub button if you haven't already. And we're going to get past that 20K. I think we're sitting around 11.5K right now. So it's been a little slow on the growth in the past couple of weeks, I would say. But yeah, I think it's going to pick up. I think it's going to be a good season for the Chiefs and for all Chiefed Up. So it is what it is. Scott with a freaking 10. Appreciate you, Scott. Thanks for that, man. That's freaking awesome. Throw some catch-ups and legendaries in the chat for Scott. Sent a super sticker. Looks like a pair with a headband on. Maybe doing some karate or something. I don't know. But no, appreciate the 10, Scott. That's freaking awesome, man. Thanks for the support.
What is up, everybody?
Look, now I got to put my headphones back on because I actually have to listen.
What's up? What's up?
What up, my man? I'm glad you made it in
tired,
safe.
Dude.
Bet you are.
I left out for Chicago. 8 a.m.
Scott, $10 for the pizza fund. That's freaking awesome. You rule, man. So, Mike, you might have missed it, but Cole gave me $20 for pizza.
Yeah.
And now,
no, I seen that.
Oh, did you? Were you watching?
I was watching.
He gave me $20 for pizza. Now Scott's added $10 to the pizza fund. So,
okay, sweet.
We're having some pizza tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Hey, appreciate that, Scott, though. That's awesome, man. But, Mike, glad you made it in safe. I'm sure it was a haul.
Dude, yeah, it sucked.
Did
I'm
it?
tired, man. It's
Traffic bad?
Dude, driving through Indiana is like it's
Putting
like
two in your eyelids.
It's horrible. It's like I would rather put my penis in a ceiling fan than drive through Indiana.
Mike comes in with a bang, dropping the PP on the PP.
PP on the PP, right off the rip. Indiana sucks. It's just long, flat. They put up windmills that don't even work off wind.
Dude, I hate passing those windmills up there in northern Indiana.
They claim that they claim that the wind powers them. BS. They're side by side. One of them spinning full speed, the other one ain't even moving. I'm like, they've got solar panels on the back. I'm like, bro, they're running solar. What's the point of the wind?
It's to make you feel like you need to take some Dramamine while you're driving, because when you're driving by it makes me sick. I don't know why, but it does.
I did come up with a cool T-shirt for Indiana, though. They should put on a T-shirt. They should put those windmills on it, and then write Windiana on it.
There we go.
Yeah. Chicago was okay, I guess. Crowded as usual.
Chicago. Yeah,
per usual.
It's like the crotch or the armpit of the United States, right? Like
It's
maybe
kinda
maybe the beehole.
It's kind of like a crotchal region. No, the beehole is Wisconsin, so it's right there. I mean,
Right there with it. It's right there with it, because even Milwaukee claims to be little Chicago.
Right.
So I mean, maybe it is it's the taint.
That's Indiana to get up.
Okay. Whatever.
Hey,
not a Chicago fan.
Are there people in chat that are from Indiana? I'm sorry. I don't know. What have y'all been talking about?
Man, everything. I'm sure you were listening on the drive.
Let's listen a little bit.
But we covered a little bit of everything. I was trying to keep up. Man, you can take over the chat if you want to. My mouse still isn't working, so I have the trackpad, and like sometimes I can't scroll up in the chat. So
okay.
I probably missed a lot of good comments tonight just because I can't scroll up. Like if it's not the last 10 comments, I ain't been able to really acknowledge it.
I was actually gonna head out to let me see. I was gonna head over to Nightbot and chill on the Nightbot, bro.
I mean, no, I like it. I do. I think it's a good thing.
No, I like it. I'm just gonna make it to where it don't rotate so quickly. I think that's what the problem is.
I think it was Jeremiah. He said he had enough of your freaking Nightbot. He said he's annoying. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
he said it was a little bit. A little bit.
No, it's rather annoying. I mean, I would rather Nightbot be annoying than me, I guess. So.
I see KL and Chief Kelsey kind of having a side conversation in the chat. And KL said something that I slightly agree with as well. He says that without CJ, he's not worried. He thinks they won't be top 10, but they won't be bad. I kind of agree with that sentiment. I don't think they would be terrible. I don't think they would be bad. But I do think would I be wrong to say that you're going to lose 2 more games at least in the regular season without Chris Jones, if not 3?
No.
I think you take a dip like that because there's been so many games where Chris Jones has closed those bad boys down, shut them down.
Right. Yeah. I'm not a proponent of not paying Chris Jones.
I don't think anybody is. I don't even think Chief Kelsey or KL is either. I think they're all about Chris Jones, but I think what they're saying, man, like if he were not to be there, like how
Yeah.
bad do you think it gets? I guess.
Yeah, I think we fall out of a top 15 defense for sure. I think we're probably cruising around 20 to 25. Not saying we're going to be horrible. Like, we'd still win games. I mean, our offense is good. But other than that, I don't know. I think we would go from 12, 13, 14 wins to we're really cruising around that we're doing a great season at 10.
I agree. I think the Chiefs are still a playoff team. Don't get me wrong. I think I could still win the division. I just don't think it's the same. I don't think it's like dominance or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're missing a big piece.
Right. Well, yeah, you're not going to get you're not going to have the Arrowhead Invitational anymore. That's for sure.
He's not going to be putting his sack on Burrow's back.
He's not going to sack up. I heard y'all talking about him getting
We were
that
talking
sack.
about his old sack earlier,
Dude,
falling out.
I drove right by
Lucas
Oil.
The home of the sack.
Right. And about, literally an hour later, you guys are talking about Chris Jones with the biggest sack he's ever had in his career, which was at Lucas Oil, just sacked himself, right? On the 40-yard line.
He sacked
right
the ground is what
he had
did.
a 40-yard sprint, sack and all. I mean, come on.
It's like shock and all, sack
Yeah.
and all. Because everybody's like, good grief.
I'm going to make a
Chris
T-shirt
Jones.
with him that says sack
Chris
at
Jones
win.
might be in the wrong business.
Oh, he's definitely in the wrong business.
We
You
know
how
what
much
he's we know what he's doing after football.
He's going to sack up.
Bow chicka wow wow.
He's going to work at Aldi. He's going to be the bag boy.
I wish I had that music, the George Michael song. I wish I had that right now. What's that song?
Brian Parrott, what's up, brother?
See, Brian Parrott didn't talk to me all night, and then you show up. He's like, "Hey, Mike,
I don't
appreciate
blame
you,
him.
Brian." No, I'm
I don't
kidding.
blame him.
You're
No,
right.
man. I'm tired. Like, I'm half out of it. I heard you say you were out of it.
Dude, man, I've just it's been a week, dude. And then Maddie randomly wanted to come over for the weekend. I'm like, okay, but I got to come get you right now.
I seen her pop on
I
at
was
the
like, I
very
gotta go.
beginning.
She said she was going to come pop on here, and then I haven't seen her.
I
She
seen her
went and
for a
hid.
second.
She probably went to sleep. She's like, you know what? I'm tired too, Dad. I'm going to sleep. Hey, Maddie, you want to come hang out for a minute?
She's asleep, man.
No, she's not. She's still
Hey, Nikki.
she's still
What's
going
up?
at it.
Oh, I heard you talking about Noah Gray tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. I was telling them I was just excited to see Noah Gray do something, man. Get some opportunities. I want him to cash in on that. Maddie's back.
I see Maddie. What's up?
I don't know why she talks with that voice. It must be a thing. Like teenagers now, they're like, "Rah."
Leave me alone.
Tired. She's tired.
I'm the old grumpy guy now. That's like, hey, why are you talking like that? That's dumb. Hey, but at least her hair's back to blonde, Mike. It's not bright. It's not bright pink anymore.
I know it's very blonde.
I'm fine with the blonde because she's naturally blonde, so it's as close to the natural hair color. I'm good with that.
You and Maddie look so much alike, by the way.
Do we?
Yeah,
She can't hear you, by the way.
I know
yeah.
what's happening.
Like you can tell it's your child. No skipping out on that one.
That's my girl. That's my oldest one. My firstborn back here.
Hey Brenda, how are you? Yeah, Maddie. I'm gonna have to come over and hang out
Brian
tomorrow,
Parrott, I
man.
wasn't ignoring you, man. I was just trying to. I couldn't scroll up on the chat, so I was trying to keep up with it the best I could, and it was like,
Did your mouse break?
yeah, my mouse broke, and then you know how this trackpad I was telling you yesterday on a StreamYard, it won't let me scroll up.
Yeah.
It will sometimes it won't. So I was probably missing a lot. But I was doing what I could.
Yeah, I was trying to follow. I was driving. I was about half asleep driving through Indiana.
I could have maybe fixed my mouse before the stream, but somebody wanted
Right.
to come see. Somebody wanted to come see old Dad this weekend, so I couldn't say no to that.
Yeah. Look at her.
Like,
just
you know what?
back
I've been
there.
driving and working all day. Why not drive another 75 miles? Why not?
I hear you.
And then when I got there, Mike, I was like, I have to come get you now because I don't have time. Like, I have to do it right now if you want to come over.
Yeah.
And I get there and she's like, I'm not ready.
I work.
I had to stand there for 30 minutes.
She's a girl and she's a teenager.
Yeah, true. It is what it is.
Yeah. Dude, I was
Do what?
I forgot what I was gonna say. See, I'm half out of it, dude. I've been driving for literally 14 hours.
What is it about driving long distances that does that?
Because it puts you in like a daze. I'm just sitting there like this, and the lines are saying, did you get my thing where I said I was not going under 95 in honor of Chris Jones?
No, I didn't see that. Hey, Kevin, what's up, man? He says, bad move to trade Big CJ. We'll never have the type of draft position in order to get a guy even similar to CJ. The thing about it is, Kevin, I agree 100%. And I don't even think it matters what draft position you get. The chances of getting another CJ is slim to none. I don't care what kind of draft position you get.
Yeah, it'd have
And
to
I
be
don't care
like,
if you get two of them.
it's got to be like hitting the lottery.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a player you don't let go. I mean, obviously, if he's unreasonable and just you can't make it happen, it is what it is. But I think something can get done.
I like to see. I mean, I heard you bringing up some stuff. Wait, what was it? Was it Lewis? I think I heard. Lewis said something about he only had 2 double-digit sacks. 2 double-digit sacks.
Yeah. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. But, again, I don't think you can just judge off sacks, man. I don't think you can.
Yeah, hold him instead.
Yeah, hold Patrick Mahomes instead of that possum.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I think
Gotta make him noticeable.
Nikki said, can I afford a ticket? No, not after getting one in KC last weekend.
Oh, yeah, they did bust Mike. But Mike had a lottery, like a scratch-off lottery ticket where he'd won $50, so he got his ticket money back.
Right. They gave me a ticket for parking in a spot that they totally said I could park in for an hour. It might have been 2 hours. Jerks. I don't know. But yeah, Chris Jones. You know what I'm kind of bummed about Chris Jones? He's not here. I think it's kind of shortchanging guys like, it's kind of shortchanging Keandre Coburn a little bit. I think he could have learned some stuff from Chris during camp. I think he could have learned and
I did
benefited
bring that
bit.
up. I said that's the one thing I don't like about him not being there so far is because there's a lot of new pieces, and they don't even know what it's like to play beside Chris Jones yet.
Right. Well, imagine what Coburn would have learned from watching Chris Jones and just learning things in the locker room and Chris Jones being a leader. Right. I don't know.
No, I agree.
I'm not.
That's one thing I didn't like about it.
Like, I'm not going to say Chris Jones is horrible. What's going on? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to say Chris Jones is like horrible for holding out. I mean, people got their reasons, but I'm with you. I didn't like the trolling on the fans have got a little too far, and then not just being the leader that he should be right now. I mean, do you want to be a leader? You want to be a I don't know, a troll on Twitter? Which one? Because I'm a troll on Twitter. Don't get you much.
Yeah, I was telling him earlier about how you and Jason Dunn were trolling people, sort of. Just talking.
Dude, people on Twitter think they know everything. Who argues? Who argues with Jason Dunn, an ex-Chief player, about Chiefs football? Like, but not about Chiefs football, like opinionated things, like their schemes and like the blocking and things like that. I'm like, this dude played for the Chiefs, bro, and you're gonna like what are you arguing about? Grow up.
T-Bone says, imagine if Mahomes or Kelsey was trolling like CJ. I don't think they could get away with it because everybody knows that Mahomes and Kelsey ain't going nowhere no matter what, right?
Man, what if they did troll? I could see Kelsey being a troll. I don't think Mahomes could do it, could he? I mean, he could troll like Jamar Chase, but I don't think they'd be mean to the fans. I don't think Chris necessarily wants to be mean to the Chiefs fan base. I think when he pokes at the few people that get on there and talk trash to him.
I agree. I don't think that either.
And then it comes off.
I don't think he thinks about the collateral damage.
No, I think Chris is getting.
But Chris
is
one of those
brothers,
people. I feel like he's got a good sense of humor, right?
Dude,
So
is it the Katz brothers? That's his agents, right?
Yeah.
I just think they're trying to make a big name for themselves. I think they're going about this wrong. I think they're overinflating to Chris Jones how much leverage he actually does have. Because this guy cannot afford to sit out 8 games. So why would you even write that? It makes no sense. Like, who are you sending a message to? Brett Veach? Brett Veach knows you can't sit out 8 games. Like, that just hurts you. I don't know. I don't get it. He needs to hurry up, though.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to see it get done before the season started. That's one thing I was saying earlier, Mike. There's still time for a deal like an extension to get done, and because if you look at past or like other holdout situations or extensions, a lot of the time, all this like public posturing comes in right at the end, right before it gets done. And that's what we're seeing. We're in the public posturing phase right now. And
I think once it gets to that stage, though, I believe just both sides are trying to get something done quick, and they're trying to do their last-minute thing. But what does Chris Jones gain from being a troll?
no, he's just Chris Jones. I think that's just Chris Jones.
Somebody had mentioned, did somebody mention somebody offered a trade for Chris Jones? Or they heard they did?
Yeah,
Chicago?
there's rumors. Chicago's one of them. Yeah, that was one team that I'd rumored that had inquired. And maybe there was another team.
Oh,
possibly.
Washington.
Yeah.
I don't see that one with Deron Payne.
Yeah,
there.
that's what I said. Nikki says anyone who would pin 2 teddy bears to his jacket definitely has a good sense of humor. Let me tell you a story about that jacket, Nikki. And this will tell you what kind of a different world that these players live in than you and I do. That jacket, it was not teddy bears that he pinned to it. It was an actual, I want to say it was like, it was one of the big brands like Versace or what's the other ones?
There's a
Gucci
lot.
or one of those, right? Made that jacket. That was a $10,000 jacket. So he paid $10,000 for a jacket that he wore one time with teddy bears pinned to it. Think about that. Went in the closet, never wore it again.
Maybe he does wear it. Maybe
That's
he
the
wears it when he
world.
gets-
That's the world that these people live in.
Maybe
Like
he
I'm over here,
showers
like
and
how can
puts
I
it
pay
on.
rent this month? How can I get food for all these children? And he's like, "This $10,000 jacket's pretty cool. I'm gonna wear it once."
Do you think Brett? You think Brett Veach? You think the Chiefs are leaking the fact that you think they're doing a little bit of leaking themselves, and they leaked the Bears trade? That forces Chris Jones. If Chris Jones says, "I don't want to play for nobody but the Chiefs,"
Well, I think
maybe they leak that, and then Chris Jones hears like, "Wait, there's people actually looking into me," and wait, the Bears, I don't want to go there. Maybe I sign.
right. Well, yeah, definitely that's one strategy, I suppose. But I don't think Chris Jones is dumb. And I think that anyone with any sense knows that the fact that there's some rift between the Chiefs and Chris Jones right now, that teams are inquiring. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of teams out there that would love to have freaking Chris Jones on their team. And if they see a little bit of a glimpse of a window of an opportunity, I guarantee you they're calling to check in on it.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
and you can't blame them because if the tables were turned and it was another player and Brett Veach would do his due diligence and probably call about them. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
and I think Chris knows that. I think he knows people are interested in him other than Kansas City. As well as he's played, as good as he is.
Does Chris have a no trade clause or anything?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I don't think he does either. Because, well, Tyreek didn't either, really, but they let Tyreek pick where he wanted to go, though, right?
Essentially.
Sorta.
Was it, who else was trying to get him? The Jets?
I think the Jets, which look at, God, the Jets have been trying to build a super team now for years, and
Can you
it's finally
imagine if
coming
the
together.
Jets would have landed and then turned around and got Rodgers? That would have been interesting. I bet
Yeah.
you Rodgers would have smacked Tyreek upside the head, though, after he started crying for the ball all the time, like he did to Pat. I bet Aaron Rodgers wouldn't take it. He'd probably
Maybe.
be like, "Shut up, dude, and go away." Like he's old and
Rodgers.
disgruntled.
Dude, speaking of Rodgers, well, not the Rodgers in general, but Quinnen Williams. Boy, that cat right there can flat out play.
Yes, he can.
Like, when I was watching him, I was like, this dude is a beast. And then I was like, this dude's the reason Chris Jones is being a bum right now. So I kind of irritated at him. But, dude, Quinnen Williams, Deron Payne, Chris Jones, Aaron Donald, those are like your big ones. That kid out of New York, Lawrence.
Right, and Chris Jones is better than Quinn Williams
Right.
and Deron
That's your-
Payne. Like he's the next step up.
Right. Well, here's what I'll say about that. Quinnen Williams can catch him and pass him.
Yeah, he has time.
I mean, because he's young. I mean, he's doing what Chris Jones is doing. He's not necessarily doing it fully, but he's right there with him. He's like 5 years younger. So I think if we were in the position with, look, if Chris Jones had performed this well early in his career, I bet he'd already be off the Chiefs. We wouldn't have paid him a second contract. The Chiefs just don't do that.
Right.
We don't like to pay big money.
They don't.
I mean, they'll say, look, we paid Mahomes a big contract. Yeah, but they figured out a clever way to do it. And then, well, we paid players before and they burned us. Yeah, I mean, that happens sometimes. You can't just never pay a player. I seen somebody say that. They're like, well, what if we give Chris Jones $28 million, then he doesn't do nothing for the next 3 years? Well, that's a chance you got to take. What if I don't pay my electric bill? Am I going to have internet tomorrow? I don't know. Like, you can't just live like who lives
That
like that
comparison
scared?
was freaking hilarious. But
Well, I'm just saying, who lives life so scared? Like, okay, yeah,
Right.
there's a very good chance, but at the same time, it's like, I pay $20 for a hamburger at McDonald's now,
so
and it
far
may
he's
suck.
proven that he's amazing. So why would you know?
Right, like we take chances like that every day on our terms.
Right.
It's like I just
T-Bone. T-Bone
Yeah.
says he installed a TV on his patio for football season.
Dude, that sounds
Heck
awesome.
yeah, man. That's freaking awesome.
I bought one of those
I'm gonna
little
do that.
what's it called? One of those like a dang, I don't even know the name of it. Like a big old TV.
A projection?
A projector.
A projector. There we go.
Yeah, like a big projector. That'd be sweet if I could get that set up for football. I don't know what I could do with it. It's not very good though. It's not like 4K or nothing. Like who wants to be watching like scraggly on Mahomes out there? I'd rather see him in 4K.
We don't want to
like
see
this big.
pixelated Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm not trying to watch
Flipping the
Caleb
ball
Williams.
Heck yeah, man. Well, hey, we're going to probably go ahead and get off here, man. I just wanted to let Mike get on here for a minute. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. I know it was a little different, a little slower, but it is what it is. Just wanted to hang out with y'all. Chief Kelsey, you're awesome. Says 94 watching now, 2+ hours later, and only 93 likes. So hit
Dude,
that
I
like
noticed
button.
that. Like I got ready
Nobody
when I got
hit
home.
the like button for me. Maybe they only listen to you.
Okay, everybody hit
What
the
I'm
like
figuring
button.
out.
And if you have to get off here, hit that like button before you go. But yeah, I was amazed, dude. I was like, there's still 90 some people watching when I got here, man. That was insane.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. But appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Special shout out to everybody that donated: Stephen James, Enrique, Matt, Yogi. I wish I could say the rest of the names. I think Kelly was on there. I can't scroll down though.
I got it. Jack Richards, Matt, Eric Olson, Cole, Michael Howard was a member. Kelly, Scott with a $10 super sticker, Stephen James, Enrique, and Yogi and Matt, which you mentioned. But yeah, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Hit that like button on the
Appreciate
way
ya.
out. And we'll be back tomorrow after the game with some initial reactions.
Man, everybody
so-
goes live after the game, don't they?
Yeah, they do, but we're going to do it anyway because that's what we do. And we're going to enjoy the game. Hope you guys enjoy the game. Y'all have a good one. Go Chiefs, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.
There goes a sight from my soul.